Hey, good evening, fellow comic art collectors. Man, it's been a busy day here at CAF HQ, busier than usual. I've been in and out a lot. I had somebody contact me the other day that was local that actually wanted to do an interview with me, and why? Because of the mini golf. They're like, we're doing these local podcast things for just any business that's brick and mortar and or whatever, and we want to talk to you. So I called the guy up and I let him know, hey, I sold it. Maybe you might want to talk to the other owner. But we ended up talking for a while, and so I met with him this morning. So he's going to do I don't even know. He's going to be doing this huge podcast. He said, he's like, you've got this really cool, I don't know, work experience, especially since you've done all these things on your own. So at some point in the near future, there will be a 2-part interview of about me, surprisingly. So we're going to see how that goes. We're going to record these things next week. So good evening, everybody. Again, I've had a hectic day, and I'm coming in under the wire like I tend to always do every week. But the thing is, it's nice to be back on Thursday, at least for 1 week. I know I'm going to go over my schedule a little bit later, but I will be back on Friday the following week. But Thursday nights are much better because usually that means I've got Friday night off, and that's the way we've got it tomorrow night. So, but yeah, good to see everybody in here. How is Chip doing? Johnny McCloskey asks. Chip hasn't really been open yet. I feel bad for the guy who bought chips. It's barely been over 50 here since the beginning of April, and even this upcoming weekend, I think the high is 49, 48. So the new buyer is still I don't think he's made a penny yet, at least behind the counter sales. So it's unfortunate for them, but I actually went over there the other day and helped him figure out how to turn the ponds on and do a few other things. So it's behind me now, but I think that's going to be pretty cool. The guy I talked with today was he does internet development on the side, and so just talking with him, he was really interested in the experiences I've had with CAF, as well as just my work prior to doing that. He went to art school as well, so we kind of shared that. So I think he found a kindred spirit in me, and so we're going to do a 2-part interview podcast thing eventually. I don't know, but it'll be next week. So still looking through the chat here, but anyways, everybody. So we've been doing a lot of different stuff. Maureen and I trying to get prepped for the move. I finally finished a bunch of work around the house too, which was really important. So we're not going to be able to get fully moved out of this house, but I think we're going to be making a move down to Florida in early May. So I'm kind of keeping my early May schedule a little open. As far as doing interviews, I might do one less a week, just trying to figure out, when I'm going to actually do a drive down with a U-Haul as a first move to get things rolled down there a little bit. But primarily, I just want to get some couches and some beds down there, because last time we were there, we slept on cots. So can't do that anymore. But I have been working my tail off around the house, getting walls painted, and I put a new floor in my office just last week. I've got a guy coming over tomorrow to power wash and restain the decks here. So it's getting close, definitely getting close. But yeah, just way too many things to be juggling all at the last minute. But I know Ron says, yeah, I have all this stuff. Well, the thing is, I'll be honest, Ron, I'm probably going to start packing it up, because my feeling is, even though it's not a permanent move, this first move that we do at the beginning of May, I feel like it's probably wise for me to move a lot of the stuff in my office first. So what'll happen is I'll move down there. I'll be there for about 3 weeks, and I think I'll do some of my shows from there, of course. And but when I come back up to Ohio, I'll be here probably for about a month and a half to 2. And yeah, the background will look pretty sparse after that, but that's okay. I don't mind. I've got to get this packed up at some point in time. I'd rather have my stuff packed first and let Maureen and the girls worry about their stuff later. Yeah, well, we'll see about that, Johnny. So let's see. When do I have to get out of the current house? So the thing is, I don't have to get out of the current house. I can keep this house. I'm in a mortgage. I'm not renting. So, but for me, of course, I'd rather not be carrying 2 mortgages any longer. I mean, I've carried up to 4 before in the past, but now I just want to get down to 1. So the sooner I can get out of here, the better. And Brett Mixon says I can use a blue screen. That's true. I can throw a blue screen behind me here, and I can be anywhere, just like I did on the Billigan's Island episode back in, gosh, I even know when that was, episode 20. That was like that was almost a year ago at this point. So, no, I have not sold it yet, Ruben, just because we knew we had work to do around here. Uh, how will I keep the hair silky smooth? I don't know. That's a good question, Marcus. You always ask the tough questions. I don't know. As long as it doesn't all fall out in the period of getting all this stuff done, I will be very, very happy. That's the main thing. It's been, uh, the last couple months have been quite stressful. But you know what? Did you guys know that today is National Beer Day? I mean, beer is my favorite beverage, and Maureen let me know this morning today is National Beer Day. So when the show's over, I'm going to have a cold one. So, and I encourage everybody else too, if you like to drink beer, you got to have one today. I guess this was the first day back in like 1933 after Prohibition when they allowed legal beer sales. So that's how this became National Beer Day. Yes. So there you go. It's burrito day as well, says Eric. So we've got a really busy show tonight. I can tell you, I've got Eric Wenger is going to be doing the guest picks tonight. And prior to that, I've got Jordan Joano on the show. He's going to be doing, he's gotten a package from, I believe, Mr. Berkey that he's been working on for a while. And we're going to do just a wonderful art opening for everybody and just see what's in the box. And I think Jordan can't wait to see what's in there as well. But I know some of it was some dueling dealer wins and a few other things. So it's going to be pretty cool to do an art day with a collector. We've done variations on that. You get to see me do my own art days here when I get art from a dealer, or if it's been sent to me or whatever. So yeah, a good reason for a cold one, though, Dino says. So yeah, fun show tonight. Lots of things going on. I've even got 2 videos I've got to play. I don't like this mic in the screen. All those young kids always have the mics up there, and sorry about that. I usually keep it out of the way. I don't like that. It's just not the look I'm after. Jay Giant says he needs a green beer. That was last month, not this month. So a couple things also. Well, you know what? I got a mail call. And this is, now I think a couple people were responsible for this one. The package has been shipped to me by Aranga. Please do not bend or crush. And it's got Aranga's sticker up here. I don't know if we did anything else on there. It just said, please do not bend or crush on the back side of it. But I believe this is from Johnny McCloskey. He mentioned to me that this package would be coming to me via Aranga. And I won't tease any of the things that he suggested may or may not be in the package. So we might as well just open it and find out what it is, because it could be a cake. I mean, for the size of this thing. Aranga says not. All right. Well, we're going to see what is in the box. Well, I'm afraid to cut this thing open. Last time I did this, I cut myself. But I thank Johnny. Johnny's been very helpful. Johnny is one of the moderators on CAF. As you know, we've got a team of about a dozen collectors that are frequently keeping an eye on things, helping me make sure that nudity and certain male body parts are not shown on the site for too long. And he's been doing a great job of it. I think he probably sends me more moderation emails than anybody else. So let's see here. What's the best side? All right, this side looks like it's the best one. See, Aranga, I waited till the show started. All right, let's see. Well, you probably didn't have a message on there that said wait until the show. All right. All right, I'm still getting to it. All right. What do we got here? Here's a letter on the outside. All right. Bill, thank you for everything you do for us and this community. We all appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Also, I think I finally found out who's been leaving you all the thumbs down ratings on every YouTube video. See inside. And it's from Johnny McCloskey via Aranga. So, and Aranga has followed the McHale School of Packaging. He has used the painter's tape properly, folded every piece over at the end to make it so easy for me to get into this packaging. Thank you, Aranga. Let's see. Bill has never. I'm not even paying attention to what you guys are writing. I should be, but let's see here. Man, how many layers are there in this, Aranga? Let's see. Oh boy. It's a cover homage. All right, let's see. I should probably take it out. Let me take it out of the plastic here so we can all look at it in all its glory without glare. All right. It's Chip from Chip's Clubhouse, and is the final issue, the sensational Chip instead of the sensational She-Hulk. Okay, now this is your last chance. If you don't come back and get me, I'm going to come to your house and rip up all your X-Men art. And of course, there's a John Byrne page in Chip's hand, and Aranga 22. Beautiful work, Aranga. This will find a place special on my wall. And Johnny, thank you so much. This is I will never forget Chips now. Oh man. So, but yeah, this what was it? Al Bigley actually drew the original Chip for me, and I always meant to show that off, but I never did. But he did the original, but this is much more lifelike than the one that Al did for me. So, Johnny, thank you so much. And yeah, this is a chapter in my life that I will never forget. And now I really can't forget it because I've got a work of art to go right along with it. So, no, this is fantastic. I love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you, Johnny. And if you saw the original drawing that Al did, because we put the drawing and the logos, concepts, and stuff together the year before we opened the golf course. And when we were at that point, we were planning on having not only a golf course but a batting cages. And so, like in his hand here there is a putter. Of course, he's holding art. But the reason his elbow's like that was because he was actually leaning on a baseball bat. But because the thing cost so much money, I ended up not putting in the batting cages, so I had to remove the baseball bat from him leaning on it. But that's why he looks so static and funky there with his arm like that. But nobody noticed, and that's the first time anybody's known about that until just now. But thank you so much to Johnny and Aranga. Claim 15 Dino page. Yes, indeed. Is that what that is? That looks more like this is actually the actual John Byrne Terry Austin page artwork, it looks like to me, and I don't own it, by the way. But if I did, I would certainly be putting it in a safe spot so Chip wouldn't have an opportunity to tear up my X-Men art. And remember, tonight is X-Men free on the art picks. At least I think so. I tried to make sure that I was not going to pick a single piece of X-Men art this evening. To after last week, I don't know how many I had, 4 or 5. So we're not going to do that again. That was definitely definitely an over X-Men day. But yeah, sorry I'm not highlighting all the comments, but thank you so much. Let's see, what did Chrono? I need another pep talk about not being able to afford. All right, we could talk about the heritage auctions today. I'm sure everybody was watching them just like I was, and I was texting with a few dealers and friends as well throughout it. But yeah, wow, huh? It's a crazy market out there. I mean, just when you think things aren't going to go any higher, then you see the results that happened today. Some of the pieces actually sold for a little less. When I was thinking of crazy money on some of the artworks, I really thought a couple of the pieces were actually going to perform better. But like the Brian Bolland cover, honestly, was probably about 30% more than I thought it was going to be. I really thought the Kirby Stone cap page was going to go maybe a little bit higher, and it didn't. So it was interesting to watch it. But by and large, I mean, obviously everything is, the prices are just crazy, and I'm sure the Dazzler cover was a bargain. Well, it might have been the bargain of the show or of the first day, right? I don't know about that. I mean, I just kept thinking that thing was not going to go over 40. That was just that's what I was thinking. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still that, it's a Dazzler cover. I mean, it's beautiful. We all remember it, but yeah, I just that one I wasn't thinking that it was going to go very high. But I think next time I'll tell you, Dino's going to be on our heritage auction, as everybody knows, and Dino threw us a bunch of fun ideas on the approach to the heritage auction recap that we do next week. And I thought, maybe next time we come into a heritage auction, signature auction, or we can do it with anybody, Comic Link as well, that I go in and I pick out like 20 auctions and just try to see how close, we can kind of guess for where certain pieces are going to end up, because at this rate I'd say we're probably not even going to be 50% trying to figure out where things are going to end up anymore. Caesar Alvarez didn't pay attention. I don't have Heritage open anymore. I had it open almost all day long because I was going back to reference a few of the sales, but we'll definitely talk more about that next week when we do the recap. So I might as well hit the schedule real quick. And now Ruben says he was expecting $75,000 for the Dazzler, but the sheer volume of great stuff means that, yep, well, that's true. And this was only the beginning, right? I mean, at the end of that, I don't know where they ended up. They were over 7 million, I think, for the art already, or they were pretty close for the art segment today. So you figure with the and that was only, we've still got about 800 more pieces to go. The Frazetta went for over 500,000 with the without the buyer's premium. I think it went for 510, 515, somewhere around in there. At first, it didn't even look like it was going to hit reserve. It was just slow. They started it at 340, so it would begin at 350 with a reserve, and it went slow, but it just kept going. A lot of those auctions, they sat on them, and they really didn't end them as quickly as I felt like some of them should be. But they still got lots of cut bids, and it was, again, it was pretty fun. I should have made some popcorn and sat back with a beer this afternoon and watched it. But it was something to see, and I'm sure we'll all be watching how the rest of the weekend pans out. They took a very long time with the Frazetta. They really did. I thought that was an odd one, but the bids kept coming in really slow. It didn't start off fast, and then they just kind of it just dragged out. Prices on the Jim Lee stuff was impressive. That's true. The Wolverine cover was what, 145 before the buyer's premium. Yeah. I mean, these are figures that, again, you look at so much of this stuff. It's we're at 7-8 times what some of these pieces were 3 or 4 years ago. So yeah. So the Cap Splash did really well. I mean, I thought the interior pages from that same book maybe could have done better. I mean, there were a lot of great Cap action pages in that set. So, but who knows? We've still got a lot more auction to go. So, but we'll talk more about that next week. But it was fun. I hope everybody watches the rest of the auctions and everything too. So let me go over my schedule and a few other things coming up so I can get on with all the other things I've got to talk about. I haven't really changed too much in the upcoming chat schedule. I've got the Heritage recap coming up next Tuesday with Mike, Nick, and Dino. Albert is vacationing in Puerto Rico, I believe. Then Thursday, I've got Steve Morger. We're going to be talking a bit about Lake Como, but he will also do a collector conversation, interview as part of that. I can't promise that he's going to send me scans, but I'm going to try. He told me he was going to open up his vault and just start showing us stuff, whatever we wanted to see. So that might be kind of more of a free for all, but we'll work it out. I'll try to get him to send me some scans so I can keep some of the artwork images clean for everybody. Then I've got Nick Patera on the 19th, Josh Raybuck for Modern Mythology after that, Joe and Nadia again. Howard Chaikin's doing a paradigm art discussion. That's probably more for you artists out there, but I think it'll be fun. Howard's always fun to see on a chat. And just a few other things. Who did I add? I added Jim of Food. He has agreed to come on to the show on May 31st. That's a Tuesday. So I'll be doing an interview with him. Kavi, yeah, maybe you should join me for that one, Kavi. What do you think? We could do a dual interview with Jim. You never know, but if you'd be up for it, I would be happy to bring you on. I think Jim's. I've only talked with him a few times, but it's been a long time. But he's a pretty cool guy, and obviously I love his art a lot. So having him on the show is going to be fun. For the selling shows, though, a few other new things added to it. First up, of course, next Monday, I've got both Ken and Jeff from 4C Comics. They're going to be doing an amateur show next Monday at 9 p.m. I know Ken's in Philly right now, so he sent me a bunch of his memes and his art already. So that's going to be, he's got a good set of things. I haven't seen everything that Jeff's bringing yet. Let's see. Scott's also mentioned about his art was on Saturday Night Live last weekend. That's very true. I saw those posts as well about Jim's work, so I'm very very cool for them. But yeah, I don't see Kavi commenting in here, but I'll shoot Kavi. Oh, there he is, Kavi. All right, cool. Well then, Kavi, if you want to do it, just shoot me an email. We'll talk about the Jim of Food interview that I've got going on. But other sales shows coming up next Wednesday will be $1,000 and under show on the regular dueling dealers. On that Saturday, I've got a art sale going on with Carl Moline, and I spoke to Carl the other day, so I now know it is Moline and not Moline. For those of you who are wondering about that. After that, I've got Nick and Jordan on that is on April 18th at 9 p.m. for another amateur show. That will be a $500 and under show. So that's going to be pretty fun. After that, we're going to do a sketch show with Mike and Anthony. And so that one, we're not going to put price tags on things, but obviously being a primarily sketch and commission / unpublished artwork kind of thing, it's going to be more on the lower side of the spectrum, of course. Then we've got McSpidey, Scott Wingo versus Mr. Bixler. That's going to be a fun one. Marvel versus DC. And we'll see who comes out on top with that one. And other shows that are coming up, I have the Joe Linsner sale on April 30th. And again, it's looking more like another cover extravaganza from Joe from that one. I was thinking we were going to do mostly interiors, but in the emails that I've seen going back and forth, it looks like Joe has literally spent the first, I think, 2 or 3 months of this year, and it's primarily cover work. So we'll see. But whatever he brings will be great. I'm looking forward to having him on and selling some more of his art for him. And then 2 editions are in June. I've already got on the schedule. Howard Chaykin is going to be coming back for an art sale on the 11th. And 2 weeks after that, Tim Seeley will be joining me. So, these kind of come to me via Jim McLaughlin. He's known a lot of creators for a while, and so he's helping some of them raise some funds and just experimenting with some people who Joe doesn't get out to, like, for instance, Joe Linsner, he doesn't get out to shows too often, certainly since COVID, but he's kind of slowly getting himself back into cons. So having the opportunity to sell artwork prior to that is good. I do think Joe is going to Baltimore this year, though, so I probably won't have Joe on again until, probably for the remainder of the year, because with Baltimore being in the fall, I would assume he'll probably be stocking up on any artwork he's going to want to take to that one. Let's see here. Okay, so Kavi said he'll sidebar. All right, very good. I appreciate that, Kavi. So let me see. Oh, I could show you. I think I showed the one of these last week, but the show thumbnail for next Monday is there you go, Jeff versus Ken in the 4C showdown. They like I said, they sent me some of their memes too. They're interesting, definitely a different approach to memes than we've had in the past. More. Well, I won't even say which other amateur dueling dealer their style is following, but if they pull them off as the ones, all the memes they put together, like the ones they've shown me so far, it's going to be a fun show. And the other thumbnail I've got already is the Bixler versus McSpidey event. Look at it's hotter than the sun, everybody. Marvel versus DC. So I'll be in McSpidey's corner, of course, being a Marvel guy, but I'll be pulling for Bixler as well. I hope all of you will too. So yeah, those are going to be good. So it's just timing is everything, right? When I looked at the calendar, I feel like I kind of overloaded it on a couple, with stuff here in April, but what am I going to do? You got to take the shows when they're available, and so having 3 amateur shows, 3 consecutive weeks is what we're going to do. And talked with Anthony and Mike after last night's show, and I told them after we got done with that show, I told them I wanted to do 1,000 and under show last night, but they were confident that they could do well on a night before this particular Heritage Signature auction on night. I was like, I told you guys, we should have just done 1,000 and under show. It would have been fine. And they were like, whatever. They enjoyed it, but things are tough. Things are definitely, you got to be careful with your money anymore. There's so many buying opportunities, right? 4C had, who did they have on the other night they had like 200 artworks Ryan Benjamin was there. And I saw them taking, sketch commissions and those sorts of things, but they brought out a ton of artwork. So there's more and more and more buying opportunities for everybody, whether it's on auctions or now going back to cons and in other show formats like ours. It's just the money's going to get tighter. So it's just going to make the shows more interesting. But that's what makes Dueling Dealers fun, right? Because even if you're not buying art, at least you're going to get a laugh or two out of something, whether it's a meme or it's a faux pas. Oh yeah, there's my Maureen is watching the show tonight. Now, for those of you who saw the Dueling Dealers episode last night, you remember a certain meme that was played twice. And yeah, welcome the boss to the chat, says Chris. So after the show, I see more when some of the memes are done, I'm not really directly involved in them. I'm kind of on the side, unless I'm needed for something specific, because my son and my daughter Ashton and Gwen also work on the memes, and so some of the direction comes from Maureen. And Maureen was telling me about this one meme she wanted to do, and it was related to the one where Mike goes and I've never directly said that was Mike farting or anything like that, because we've always just made different things flying around behind him. But Maureen was talking about using that and using my Wizard of Art Moidoc appearance to do some comparative green clouds, she said. And I haven't, it's been a long time since I've seen the Wizard of Oz, I have to tell you, but she told me that in the Wizard of Oz there's these, there's some kind of like progression of green smoke, blah blah blah. So when she told it to me, she's like, I'm going to use this and I want it to go back and forth. And so I in my mind, I'm thinking, it's obviously my mind went in the wrong direction. Ashton took the direction wrong as well. And so it was my fault and Ashton's fault. So when I was saying it was all Maureen's fault that she came up with this crazy idea to have Mike and I in some kind of a competition, it was not, that was not what they wanted. But that's why they played it twice, because they knew how foolish I was by blaming them and for misinterpreting the actual intent behind that meme. So yes, Maureen is the puppet master. So there, see, Scott Wingo says, Maureen, we appreciate all you do for the community and for giving Bill a hard time. And they gave it to me afterwards. Gwen came in and was like, you didn't follow the script. And I was like, I didn't have a script. I only had what they told me. And I just wasn't listening, as I apparently do probably quite often around here. So I need to be a better listener around the house. I'll try harder, Maureen, I promise. Now that I know she's watching. This is exactly how the Batman show ended up being 3 hours long, says Mikhail. Keep my wife's meme out of your show. Oh boy, yes, exactly. So, well, I'm glad Maureen popped in here, because and all the notes I made, I wanted to talk about that and I forgot all about it, about adding it to my notes. So that's good. But speaking of Maureen, before I came down to finalize my prep, I did talk with Maureen about Comic Art Live, and we still are on pace to have booth setup start tomorrow. That is the plan. I can't tell you what time exactly, but as soon as the booth prep is ready. Clearly it's starting early, a little earlier than we usually do, but we're going to delete all the inventory from everybody's booths, but we will leave in things like your booth title, description. If you had a booth photo, like your logo or a picture of whatever you use as your photograph, all that will be there. For the people who are reps, we'll certainly leave all of your artist information in there as well, but all the inventory that you've posted will go away. So just remember that. I know everybody here voted last week that we want to clear out inventories, and that's the way I've always wanted to do it. And I had a few emails with with people just trying to explain why we do that. So Ruben says CAFCon Spring 2022. It's not. It's Comic Art Live Spring 2022. But I know Ruben wants me to call it CAFCon. I know a lot of people want me to call it CAFCon, and I'm just not quite prepared to call it CAFCon yet. It's still Comic Art Live for me, and until something else changes my mind on that. Steve Rubin's going to call it CAFCon forever. But so yeah, so we're going to have booth setup starting tomorrow. Maureen reminded me that we actually did some updates to the programming after the last show. I've got to go back through my notes and see what things we modified, because I know after the last show we had some things we wanted to change. Maureen seems to think we had done some of that, but I'm going to go over a couple of my older lists on things we wanted to improve and maybe update before the next show. So I'll have a be able to go over that with everybody next week, just to say these are the things we did and these are the things we hope to have done before before the show actually opens. Um, so, but I will tell you one other thing. I did speak with Maureen about the whole idea of sending out an email to premium members that match your want list keywords. So when we experimented with that originally, it was before we had the new SQL server in place, and so we're going to run some tests on that in the next week or two. We're going to before we delete all the data, we're actually going to duplicate the 5,000 artworks that were in last show, and we'll move it over to a temp table, and we're going to run some queries against it for all the premium members on CAF and see how long it takes to generate that want list alert. And I'm kind of a little bit torn. I sort of don't want to do it at the moment the doors open for premium members. So, at 11 a.m. on Saturday, I do feel like it actually might be better to do it more like at 10:30. I don't know if that's good or not, because clearly you guys are going to get this email and you're going to want to click these links and none of them are going to work. But I was sort of thinking that it might make sense to send it out in advance, because then it's going to give you, this is where you can go right at 11. You don't have to like dive blindly into the haul. You can actually go in and target pieces that you want. So Eric says people be clicking links. I think that would make a whole lot of sense. So prepping it about 30 minutes early, because booth setup closes an hour before the doors open. So at 10 a.m., anybody who's selling any artwork can't post anything else to Saturday until after 10 a.m. So I'm figuring a 10:30 mailing for the keywords would be great. And then that gives you 30 minutes to kind of mull things over and set up your own target list of what you might want to buy. And see, Scott says give them a hunt list. That's all right. So we're gonna give it a try. I think it's gonna work. And then what we would do is we would do the same thing for Sunday, since booth setup for Sunday ends at 10 a.m. Sunday morning, and all that artwork goes live at 11 a.m. We will send out a 10:30 email for Sunday's art drop for all the booths as well. So right now I can't see how it can't work, because one thing that happened last week, Maureen and I were fixing some of the data from sites that we crawl, and just one of the sites wasn't updating properly, and so we went in and did kind of it was a large like purge and add for, I believe, Illustration Art Gallery, whom many of you probably don't even know, but I crawl their site. They've got like 7,000 artworks for sale, and what happened when we did that, it actually brought in about 2,000 new artworks all at one time. And so I got nervous. I watched, and I can see the system when it's sending out the every 5-minute want list keyword alert, and it went off flawlessly with 2,000 items to query for all our premium members. So I can't see how 5,000 items is going to make it any slower, because it wasn't slow at all. This new SQL server is a monster. It never goes over like 5% CPU utilization and doesn't even use half the RAM ever. So I think crunching 5,000 artworks into several hundred or several thousand keywords isn't going to cause any problems. So I'm looking forward to that. That would be a great enhancement. I've always wanted it, just to make my life a little bit easier. So we'll see. And I did see Ruben say I can call whatever I want, but I can't stop some of you from calling CAFCon. All right. All right. I don't need to talk more about Comic Art Live, but I'm looking forward to it. I think this show is going to be, I'm really hopeful. And I should tell you one thing, okay, because this is definitely going to happen. I was telling you that we were trying to add a few things to this show, and what we're going to do is we're going to be doing I'm not going to call it, I don't know what to call it yet, but on Friday evening, we'll have some artists on who are going to be doing some sketching, and we are actually going to pre-sell some very affordable con sketches. And I'm working with Jiggy and a few other reps, I hope. I'm still trying to figure out, negotiate that. I'll be working with Jiggy, and I'll be working with 4C Comics. And so we're going to pre-sell some very affordable sketches that, will very minorly benefit Comic Art Live, so I can actually pay a couple of the people that help me with the panels. Actually, I've been paying them for the last couple of shows, but so we're going to do that. We'll pre-sell those. It'll be a lot like Hero's done those sorts of things. in the past with their drinking draws, where you're going to pay for a sketch slot. You can say which character you're going to get, but you don't know whom you're going to get to draw it. But I can tell you, like with Jiggy, I think there's about 8 of his artists that are doing it. Mannix is one of them. He's doing 4. So the chances are, Sawe is doing 4, I think. So, and I don't have the email up, or I'd be quoting you perfectly how many everybody is, but is actually taking on. But it's going to be fun. And so then on Friday evening before the show, probably from 9 to 11, we'll just kind of hang out with the creators that want to go online on a live stream, and it'll probably be G, Ken, and I will just be hanging out and just talking with the artists while they're drawing, and it'll just be something fun, something to add to the show, and then we'll see where it goes from there. As far as doing more of this for future shows, but I just wanted to try to add some layer of interest and something new this time around, and I hope to do that with future shows as well. Marcus says we need Billigan sketch covers. I've got 3 of them right over there. I still haven't given my mom hers yet. Is it still? I'll have to get Jiggy weighed. Jiggy's been great, as everybody knows. He has been very, very open to doing different stuff with me. I mean, he's a new rep, of course. I just can't call him new anymore, but he's been really open to experiment, and so I'm hoping that it goes off really well, and yeah, we'll probably be doing more of that going forward, because I think when you're doing these shows, right? I mean, when we started this, it was all we were trying to save the hobby, right? We thought everything was going to fall apart the May before last, right? And so trying to get creators commissions and everything. I know that's still not a focus of Comic Art Live, but a lot of the reps that were coming in were taking commissions. Some of the artists were taking commissions, and the way I kind of look at it is, I think that if we go into these shows knowing that reps are bringing artists that want to have commissions, or artists are going to be setting up the show that want to have commissions, it might make a lot of sense to kind of pre-sell and promote those prior to the show. I mean, and I know that they're going to be done for the show and as part of it, but going into a like Mark Hayes booth during the show and commissioning an artist isn't necessarily your top focus. But if you can get that out of the way before the show happens, and I think that would make a lot of sense, and I think so that it just makes your virtual con experience with Comic Art Live a bit cleaner, and then those commissions don't become an afterthought that you forget about the whole weekend. If I know that Mark, for instance, was bringing an artist that was willing to take 5 $250 commissions over the show, why not sell them leading up to the show versus trying to get them sold during the show? And if we can help facilitate that, then I don't know. And I cut myself. Look at that. Man, how did I do that? Ow. Man. I'm sorry. I'm bleeding on camera here, everybody. Yikes. Anyway, so okay, I'm glad everybody thinks it's a great idea. And I'm sorry I'm bleeding on camera today. But ouch. So let's see. Sorry, reading Carlos. Commissions were a driver for people to buy premium. At least it was for me. That's true, Carlos. I mean, that's another way to look at it. Maybe I'll have to think about that. You're absolutely right, because in some cases, I would agree with you on that some of those people who were doing commissions were, you had to get into their booth right away. You're right, because a couple of times you had to drink the blood. Oh man, what the heck did I do there? Anyway, but that is something to think about. But probably by and large, not everybody's going to want to do it. I think that the people who are offering commissions, Mark would be one of them, wouldn't he? Well, anyway, so maybe this will just be a fun side event, and it never grows or goes beyond just being this one little side event that we have as part of the show. At any rate, we will work that out. Now, see, my time is flying by, and I don't want to delay or miss out on anything here. So I should remind everybody, scheduling for a couple other things too. Of course, this Saturday is Wicked Comic Con in Boston, and it's from 10 to 7 p.m. And I know that, what is it, Glenn and Will and Bashar are setting up there. That's the show that my buddy Colin's been working on very feverishly for the past couple of months. It's got a great guest list, so if you're in the Boston area, you should definitely do that. And I never made a slide for it, but I think Philly has a Comic-Con this weekend as well, and that was the old Wizard Con or something, right? So it's a busy weekend on the East Coast of America, and I expect lots of artwork to be posted to CAF beginning early next week. So But definitely, if you're in the Boston area, please go and visit that show. It should be a good one. And I could go over the rest of the stuff, but all the regular ones. Comic Art Con's coming up later this month. And then I'm going to be at MegaCon that Friday doing a panel. I still have to talk with Kevin Boyd about from Fan Expo to line that up. But I believe Ken from 4C is going to be with me, as is Berkey's going to be down there. So the three of us are going to we haven't even outlined the talk, but we'll be doing a panel on Friday morning, I hope. And outside of that, all about the Heroes Con that we're all going to be hanging out at. Remind everybody one more time. I still don't know where the Thursday get together is going to happen. I have not heard from George Hodge, but as soon as I do, we will make that announcement. But it's going to be one heck of a fun time, as everybody knows. I bet you we have at least 75 people from the chat going to be there, and it's going to be a party like 1999 right then and there. I know it, and I can't wait. I really can't wait. So can we get a live stream at the panel, says Carlos. I don't know, Carlos. I will have to ask them about that. At the very least, my daughter Gwen was going to be with me, and she was going to record it. So I can tell you that we will definitely have something, whether it's a live stream or not. I can't promise you that, but we'll see. But anything we do, we'll definitely at least record it. I still haven't I have told you guys I had a few emails with Shelton and the team over there. I haven't heard back from them this past week, but hopefully maybe next week I'll be able to give you some tidbits of things that I think that they're going to be setting up for us while we're there that I think will be pretty cool. Thank you, T. Gleason, for the super chat. I always appreciate that. For Band-Aids, yeah, man, I don't know. I did not shave before the show, so that's just so weird, and I don't know where that came from. It is peculiar. At any rate, but I'm headed to Chrono Chaser. You should have. Well, Vegas is probably going to be more fun in some ways, but all right. Next up, I've got two things. I got two videos I got to show you, and I'm running out of time. So because I want to get to Jordan ASAP here. So first video was from WonderCon, and Kevin Sharp was very nice enough to film several bits and just walking around to give you that con feel of being at WonderCon. And as you remember, last week, Cool Line sent me this picture of one of the Donnelly brothers wearing a Dueling Dealers shirt. I can tell you that Kevin told me on day 2, Rich was wearing a the Dealmakers shirt, but that's okay. At least on day 1, they all had Dueling Dealers of Comic Art shirts on, so they were okay on day 1. Day 2, it's more, they can wear anything they want. But I think you're going to see in this clip that Kevin kind of insinuated that Rich wouldn't turn around because he knew that he was filming this for me, and Rich wouldn't turn around to show that he was wearing a Dealmaker shirt on. So you'll see Rich with his back to the camera, and it was really just a quick bit there. But let me get this queued up, and it's about 5 minutes. So these things, it's worthwhile. There's some art to see, but mostly it's a sights and sounds sort of video. There you go. And it ends with Micah and the Comic Connect Metropolis booth with that comics interview Miller Batman piece that he teased at the last time I had him on for the recap, right? For the last recap auction that we did for Comic Connect with Micah. So yeah, that was pretty good. And we got to see Bashara, and you barely saw Rich because he wouldn't get up off of the ground. And who else was there? Oh, that was Steve Wyatt and Steve Morger. So if you recognize Morger and you don't recognize Wyatt, Wyatt was the guy he was talking to. So all good friends of mine. Oh no, Kevin. Oh, I wrote it all wrong. I can't take it back. I'm sorry, Kevin. Well, that's my fault. Oh man, I hate spelling people's names wrong. I actually one one time in the Infected by Art book, I think the first book I did, I spelled one of the award winners' names wrong, and it was like the worst feeling ever. And I've always tried to be better about that. I am sorry, Kevin. You know, the thing was, what I've thought about starting to do is all these little clips that we put together, that I'm going to put them out on the channel as like separate bits, so I can actually fix it there, and I will do that. I have to write down no E. I even have it in my notes. I put an E on your name. I apologize. At least it wasn't Sharpie. All right, all right. Anyway, so next up, another video clip. This one is thanks to Anthony Snyder, if you can believe that. He went to Mocha on Sunday and literally told them he was. And maybe this won't surprise you. He told them he was press, and he was press for comic art fans. And so let's see, Bill, which do you hate more, spelling them wrong or pronouncing them wrong? I hate spelling them wrong a lot worse, Ruben, believe it or not. Spelling is far worse than pronouncing them wrong. But let's see. So he went to Mocha under the guise of being there representing comic art fans. And so he actually did a couple interviews too. He did an interview with Mike Mignola, and he spoke with Donato Giancola, who happens to be the artist whose name I misspelled in a book when he won an award for Infected by Art. And I can't even remember how I misspelled it. Well, I didn't misspell it. It was like the press person misspelled it, and I didn't catch it. You know, it was like an H1 font at the top of this guy's page. And the moment I opened the book, you know, I get my first copy. I didn't even see it in the proof copy, but when I get the first published copy, I open it up to that page, and all I could see was that it was spelled wrong. It was like the worst moment of my life. I mean, I had to email him before that, you know, before he got his copy to apologize. But at any rate, so Anthony did an interview with Mignola and with a short one with Donato. And so I've taken just kind of distilled all the stuff that he sent me into a short, like 4-minute clip from Mocha, so you can see it. I've never been to Mocha, the Mocha Fest, but he's just down the road from it. But what we're going to do is on Saturday, we're going to do a kind of an art drop show type of thing, like I did last week with Anthony for some artwork of Mike's. I mean, I think he picked up like 4 or 5 things maybe from Mike, but he also has a couple of things from Mike that he's not shown on his site or on Dueling Dealers or anything as well. So he's going to offer up, like, I think about 8 pieces for sale from Mike's stuff, and then we'll show the interview. So it'll be a short show, like an hour-long show, like we did last week with Assad when when we did the interview recorded with him as well. So that'll be on Saturday at 2:00, and then that'll be a busy day for me, because on Saturday after I do that, then I'm rushing over to Berkey's house, because we are going to the Butler Institute of American Art, and I'm dropping stuff around here. We are going to the Butler Institute of American Art in Youngstown, because there is a Steranko exhibit going on there, and it should be pretty cool. I know that Jim had to delay this show by a couple years thanks to COVID, but they still had it, and they're doing a reception for him that night. So I actually paid for tickets to go and get to hang out and chat with Steranko. I'm going to talk to him about doing something podcasty. I know he doesn't like to be on camera, but we're going to. I'll see what I can work out. And gosh, you guys, Mike McNohan. Oh, well, at any rate, so let me show you the Mocha clip so you can see what Mocha looks like. And again, this is just short. The interview with Mike isn't a part of this, although there is a little bit in there with Mike as well. So let me go ahead and play that.
Hey, fellow collectors, I'm Anthony with Anthony's Comic Book Art, and I have the honor today of being able to talk to Mr. Mike Mignola. one of, if not the most successful. Would you call yourself an independent comic creator?
I guess so. In that, but oh well.
Well, that's where it came from. He
my-
had some stuff at a show a bunch of years ago, and I've actually kept that ever since.
Yeah. What was going on? My stuff was becoming more graphic, and Carlos wasn't a graphic guy, so he added a bunch of lines. My stuff was further along in my development, and then you just can't really tell here. Oh well, I did the best I could.
Storage, not this one, but the other one.
See, I can tell you're running the show when you're like trying to scrounge up chairs. So here I am with Annelle Miller. She's the director of Mocha, and you've been that way for...
Well, I've been the executive director of the Society of Illustrators for 15 years, and we took over Mocha. It's been about 12 years now, so we've been putting Mocha on for, all that time when we inherited the festival.
Hello, I'm Donato Gincola. I've been a science fiction and fantasy illustrator for, almost 30 years now professionally. I live in Brooklyn. I grew up in Vermont in the United States here. And I love traditional media, oil painting, drawing, draftsmanship, and storytelling. And here with
Did you go to school? Did you?
Yes,
I classically trained as a painter.
Not really classically trained. I went to school, Syracuse University, for their fine arts painting program. So that's where I really engaged with traditional media, oil painting, and storytelling. And I actually had two wonderful teachers that were almost on opposite sides of the coin. One, kind of a postmodern deconstructionist, Sharon Gold. And then another artist, Jerome Wicken, who is very traditional-oriented, draftsmanship, great figure drawer. So I think between the balance of those worlds and that injection into me, I'm able to produce really interesting conceptual pieces for my fantasy and science fiction work.
Hi, I'm Ken Wong with Origami Comics, origamicomics.com. This was the first origami comic that I made. It's called Pandora's Box. It's a comic in the shape of a box. And I designed it so that the borders would lead you from the title through the panels until you get to the point in the story where you have to open the box to continue. And of course, that's the point in the story that's most rated with drama because we know it's Pandora's Box. When you open it up, there's instructions for how to refold the comic.
Hey, I'm Rand Hoppy. I'm here from the Jack Kirby Museum booth, selling our Jack Kirby Museum merchandise and getting the word out about Jack Kirby here at the Mocha Fest, here at the Metropolitan Pavilion in Manhattan. We had a great day yesterday, and we're looking forward to another great day.
So there you go. You can see how happy Mike Mignola was hanging out with Anthony. But Anthony's interview with Mike was actually about probably about 20 minutes long. That's what we'll show on Saturday. So I didn't want to like cram it in here tonight. and we're saving that for the little art sale and whatnot for that day. But yeah, can you imagine? Anthony's got to be holding that camera up above his head, so I can just imagine what everybody thought of him walking around filming like that. But at Mocha, Patrick McDonald was there from Mutts, and a few other noteworthy artists. But Mike was obviously the big draw from that show. But looks like fun. I wouldn't mind going to it just to. I don't know about Pandora's Box though. That was a little interesting. But the show's all about the creativity and all that. And so it would be a fun show to get to if I lived a little closer or had some time. So we only got a few more minutes before I want to bring Jordan on. And one thing I did neglect to show you guys last week, I was always every time we do one of these, I always wanted to talk about a feature on CAF and just say, hey, this is probably something you're missing out on, or whatnot. And this isn't a really major one, but it's something that I get an email every day of activity that goes on in the forums. And you would think that there's really not a whole lot of activity going on in the forums. And in its own way, there really isn't. But there is a feature in there that some of you might want to actually turn on selectively. And because every day, I think at 6 o'clock, we send out an email that just kind of shows any announcements or any forum posts that have happened in whatever categories of the forum that you've selected. And so I can show you a screenshot. It's really kind of small. Sorry, I should have probably made it a little larger and figured a better way to do this. But like what I'm doing on mine is, and this is from last week, I'm following both the gallery announcements forum and an art for sale forum. And as you know, like when you're on CAF, you can basically go in and make announcements. Well, most people aren't going to go into the forums on a regular basis, but if you subscribe to both of these forums, you can actually get emailed every time somebody's announcing an art day or they're announcing any new art sales that they're doing. And so, it's just another way of kind of keeping up on things that people are trying to promote. And as you know, art days were always super special to the Comic Art mailing list back in the day and got used quite regularly there. But of course, it doesn't happen there anymore. Everybody's using Facebook and whatnot. But on CAF, there is the option to post your own art day when it happens, and also anything you have for sale. Even if you're not a premium member, you can do it. So if you are let me see, if you go to the main forums section, which is underneath resources and forums, and for instance, Comic Art Gallery announcements is one of the forums there. And if you click on it, you would get to this page. And right up at the top here, mine says unsubscribe from the Daily Digest. If you go to it, and yours would probably say subscribe to the Daily Digest, it would be only subscribing you to the Comic Art Gallery announcements. And then similarly, there is a thread for art for sale that typically gets used mostly by premium members, but a lot of non-premium members will post things for sale as well. And right in here, you can easily just find out, you can see Larry Wilson posted an update 9 hours ago. Joe C., Robert Lee, Nick F., Saul, Nicholas Rizzo from Rizzo Arts. So again, it gets used fairly regularly, but for those of you who want to actually be able to keep on top of it, the best thing to do is to go into the forum and click that. And it's just a once a day email at 6 o'clock. Just kind of will show you anything that's been added in the last 24 hours. So you can just scan the email pretty quickly, like you can see. So it's not super active, but active enough that there may be things that you don't want to miss. So just wanted to throw that out there. And so there you go. There's your CAF tidbit of the day. But I've always been meaning to tell you guys about that, because I actually look at it, because I'm subscribed to all of them. So because it's the only time spammers ever use the site is they'll post something in the forum. So I'm subscribed to every single one of them. And like once a month, somebody comes on there with a Russian bride scheme, or I don't even know what else. There's actually been some NFT weirdness posted in there every now and again. But again, there is some use to that if you want to do that. And like Nick just said, there's 76 watching and only 57 likes. Come on, we got to do better than that. Help my algorithm, as Nick would tell you. So, all right, why don't we get? It's now time to move on to Jordan. I can see Jordan is in the green room. And he is mahalo. All right. Hey, Jordan, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Well, other than the fact that I've cut myself somehow, and I don't know how, everything is perfect here. And I think that the crowd is warmed up and ready for this art day that we've got planned here, Jordan. I'm so glad that you wanted to do this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know how you've always said you want to try and do different things on the show, and I appreciate that as a viewer. I'm sure a lot of everybody in the audience does as well. So we see how Felix will do an unboxing
Yeah.
often. Yeah, and that was, I tune into that as well because it's like we're all kids in candy store. We get to see what gets opened up. So I got a box. I've been working on paying off 15 pages with Mike Berkey. So, and it took me around 2 years. And the reason it took longer because I kept winning dueling dealers pages from him, kept adding to the pile.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing. And it kept pushing me back. And Mike's so great about the time payments and paying off like that. So I finally reached the nirvana, got it paid off. I got it in the mail. Got it in the mail around 3 weeks ago, reached out to you, Bill. And, I've been waiting for 3 weeks to open it up. I waited 2 years. So what's another 3 weeks after that? And
that's a lot of patience, Jordan. I don't know if I
yeah.
could take 3 weeks.
Well, that's part of the fun too, right?
Oh yeah, no, it is. It really is. That's why I like getting stuff and opening it. But 3 weeks is a very long time when you know there's art in there.
Yeah, it's been. I had it I had put in my bed because I didn't want to forget bringing it today. And I looked at every day. I looked at it. So yeah, you're right. The anticipation is built. I honestly I haven't opened it, so hopefully everything's in there that I have paid off. Put it that way.
Or we're gonna get a surprise or two, I think.
Yeah, we might. Hopefully not, though. But before we get started, I caught up on an old episode of your updates.
Okay.
And you had featured this page on the update. It's the birth page of Cypher.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And yeah, and then you had called it out because I didn't even catch it when I made the pictures. But why is the wording on here covered up? And so basically, what it is, it's like there's original art underneath, and then so Sam Keith he drew this panel again. They made it into the stat, and then basically when I got the page, he included the extra panel, so it kind of lays on top of it.
All right. Now it makes sense.
So that's why I covered the wording, but that's the published side of it there. So it's the first time I've actually gotten a page where I've got the extra original art panel included as well. So just thought
I'm glad you remembered that. I remember that distinctly, but that's a beautiful page. Really, really is.
It is one of my more coveted pages, definitely in my featured gallery. Yes. So here's the box. Hope I don't do a Nick Barucci and cut some of the art.
Right. Don't cut yourself either.
Yeah. I'm just gonna slice it open. You seen that knife that Felix uses on his show?
I have.
It's like cutting open like a bear or something like that.
I know.
All right.
Nick Barucci said, "Please don't cut the art."
Yeah, I know. That's a running gag for Nick. We actually tried to get him to discount that page on his show because it was cut. All right, so I got that off of there. So here's all 15 pages there. So I'm just going to go ahead and open them up one at a time. And
this is exciting. I can't wait.
Well, that's one thing I like about one of the other things about art. It's not condition sensitive. So as we beat it up and pull it out, it's not like we have to look for a 9.8 grading on it or anything like that. Right. So I'm just I don't have the camera that Felix has, so I'll go one at a time. So this first one here was the reason I got this is the Dueling Dealers win I got from Mike, and Mike Mignola had done the inks on this page.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, and this was actually before the movie came out, this is how long ago I got this claim. So I just wanted something, Shang-Chi, Mignola inks as well. So I like that. I'm going to save this one for last. I'm glad it's in there. This is one, it wasn't Dueling Dealers. This is one I got off of Mike's site here. And that's
Sienkiewicz, right?
DC First. And this is Batgirl Joker, but this is Bill Sienkiewicz. And you can see he's got the Joker image right there in the middle panel. So, I mean, Bill Sienkiewicz doing the Joker, to me, is enough said. I mean, that's kind of what, we love his style. I think he's really tailored for the Joker as well. So this is one of the very first ones I put on hold off of Mike's site. Let me do that one.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that one,
Yeah.
George.
Yeah. And like I said, paying it off and waiting for it to come in like Christmas, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one here, this is the cover to Stormwatch 28. And I got this off of Mike's site as well. And the reason it's Ron Lim, and it's old image, but it's the first appearance of this character Swift, and she's part of the Authority. I'm a big fan of the Authority.
Mm-hmm.
So getting her first appearance on a cover by Ron Lim, it's kind of worth it for me there.
That's really nice too.
Yeah, I did really good work on the cover as well. Yeah. This one here, I don't know if I should take them out of the cover. I think here. All right. This one, I'm going to have to cut this one here.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. All right. It's an older page and it's sticking to the plastic. There we go. This is a title page to Wonder Woman, number 44, for the overlay. But George Perez, he did the plots on this, and it's art by Chris Merriman. So I'm besides first appearances, I collect title pages as well.
Oh yeah.
So an old Bronze Age title page with Wonder Woman on it, and then like I said, George did the plot. So again, and I look at my list and look at the prices I paid for these. Again, these were 2 years ago before the big surge up. So
right.
I'm very lucky to get this at the price that I got it at.
Sure, that's a great page.
Yeah, and he held it for me to pay off as well.
He's the best time payments in the
like I said, 2 years paying it off, so that's testament to that. And another reason I reached out to you, because it's Mike, right? It's Mike Berger. We all know and love Mike. So I just wanted to show this with all my friends here on CAF, and it's a way for us to share art.
Yeah.
This is an older page. It's Marvel Premiere 41. It's an old Bronze Age page. So it's seen its better days, but it's Tom Sutton. It's
right.
Marvel Premiere, and it's Star-Lord is in these issues here. So just wanted an early page with Star-Lord on it as well. So again, it's been beaten up, but any kind of
love Sutton's work.
Well, sort of like collecting comics. Once we become fans, we all start to go backwards and try and get older issues.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know, being comic collectors, going back to the Bronze and Silver Age, a lot less supply, a lot harder to get. So with the art as well, we all know it's harder to find older art. So I always gravitate when I see an older page as well.
Sure.
This one here is not older, but it's done by two heavyweights. So this is Neil Adams pencils and Bill Sienkiewicz inks, and it's from Batman Odyssey. And I always I get tickled about when I see Sienkiewicz inking over Neil Adams. You know what I mean? Two heavyweights working together, they shine on their own.
Mm-hmm.
But when you got the two of them together, just stands out even more. And you got Deadman on this page with Batman and Robin. So, Neil Adams Batman, it's hard to turn that one down as well.
Right. No, that's a great looking page too.
Yeah.
Delight Loves Movies asks you to hold. Let us know which one you wanted to see again, and I'll have George put it up again. I'm not sure which one you're referring to.
I should be taking them out of the plastic. That's better there. So that's better to kind of show that. And again, I grew up with Neil Adams. I remember chasing Neil Adams when I was getting comics. I would take the Overstreet price guide and literally highlight anything that Neil Adams drew.
Sure.
Right. This is before the internet, and I would carry that with me when I went to stores, and I would just hunt Neil Adams. So to be able to own Neil Adams art is always a treat. Right there. So
right, and getting Sienkiewicz inks with him is that's really
again,
nice.
It's almost like you didn't need to have him inking. I mean, the Neil Adams pencils were enough for me.
Yeah.
This one here, I did win this on Dueling Dealers. It's Simonson Thor, and this one I just figured to myself is probably the closest I'm going to get to a Walt Simonson Thor page.
Mm-hmm.
So why not get something that he drew? Great image of Thor. Big fan of his anyway. So it's the closest thing I'll get to a page. So that's kind of why I claim that one there. I love Walt Simonson's signature as well. I love those on his art.
You know, it's unmistakable. But you know,
Yeah.
it's nice to get, you know, so many of us have headshots, right, that he's done at conventions. So getting one that's you know, like that, congratulations. You're right.
Yeah, no, that you're right. It's a full figure
Mhm.
commission versus just a headshot. So that's made me want to claim this page. Got this from Dueling Dealers.
And just, you know, Delight Loves Movies wanted to see the Sutton again.
Sutton.
Was that one still? Was that in the bag when you showed it? I can't remember. That was the one with the glue stains.
That's the old Bronze Age one right here. It's Marvel Premier, so it's an early Star-Lord appearance. So
I'll even go extra.
This is one that could benefit from some restoration. So I have a pile for that too, to kind of help get these restored a bit, make it more presentable.
It's got some Zipatone on it as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Again, an old Bronze Age page too. That's what gravitated me to get this in the first place. This one here, I got another. It's a a Bronze Age title page. So Green Lantern, right there, and it's Joe Staton. Yeah, Joe Staton. So again, when I've talked to collectors, you know, title pages to me, I've said it before, it's 1/8 the price of a cover, but they're almost always a full page splash. They have the credits. It sets up better to me than covers do, and that's why I would collect them even more. So just happy to get it. I grew up with Green Lantern because that whole Neil Adams run that he did on Green Lantern got me into that character.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely read the Joe Staton comics after that, and so happy to actually have a title page of his as well. So.
Well, that one's fantastic, and you know, just like the other title page, where the title of the story is such a part of the you know, the title page itself. It's just so nice to see it like that, especially the other one where it was part of almost like, you know, a sign on a building. I mean, I love when creators do interesting things like that. You saw that a lot. Like you know, Cloak and Dagger books, they would always do fun things like that. The classic Spider-Man, you know, you'll see that a lot too, right? So very, very nice. I love title pages.
Well, I honestly, like I said, when I first started collecting, I was equally hunting both title pages and first appearances. Whenever they would come up, I would just go after them, and I got very lucky to score so many pieces like that. This page here, I have Nick Barucci to thank for this one.
Oh.
Because Nick actually won this ahead of me on Dueling Dealers. And we all know that Nick is one of the premier ambassadors for our hobby, and he's always so gracious in all the shows. So I've seen him multiple times when he sees other people who want something, he'll allow them to make the claim and purchase, and this is one of them. So he got this. I'm a big Sabretooth fan. So Ariel Olivetti is the artist on this one here, and I kind of wish I had more art from this series. It was a 4-issue series that they did, Mystique and Sabretooth together. Mm-hmm. But just love the image of Sabretooth here. And again, thank you, Nick. He actually claimed it, bowed out of it, let me purchase it from Mike.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah. This one here, this one goes off. Goes off of my bucket list now. So this is a Marshall Rogers Batman Man-Bat title page. So I get to check mark off a Marshall Rogers page. So I actually have a folder in my gallery that says bucket list for artists that I've gotten. So just, you know, this was on Dueling Dealers, and it honestly didn't go in the first round. I went to recap. I shot out an offer, and Mike took it, and I'm just happy to have it. So again, Marshall Rogers title page in my gallery now. So very happy for that one there too.
Man, you're killing me with these title pages.
Yeah, and again, like I said, it not only presents well, they set up the story. You get to see the theme of the story and what the comic's all about too. This one, it was one of the last claims I did with Mike, and it was one of the more recent shows. Mm-hmm. And it's Ken Lashley. It's the cover to the Oz stories, and I actually have a folder in my gallery. I titled it "Pieces that Put the Art in Comic Art."
Hmm.
and it's just Ken really knocks it out of the park there with his imagery on the Wicked Witch there. So yeah, just it's not historic, but definitely artistic.
Oh
So I
yeah, I love
appreciate that.
Ken's work. I mean, he's really really talented. I mean, does
Yeah,
not get the credit he deserves for his skill. I mean,
yeah.
that's beautiful.
Yeah, when I saw, I usually when they do female scenes, if they really knock it out of the park with the face,
Hmm.
then it's like half the job right there, and that's what
Sure.
Ken really did on this one here. So happy to have this one too. Definitely, I have a cover folder that's in that's going to go in that one there. This one is another Dueling Dealers win, and it's a Silver Age cover.
Oh yeah, I remember that too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and again, I love trying to get to Silver Age art any way I can, and to get a cover here. And not that we did it, not that these are all in my keeper portfolio, so these are not for me to turn and burn kind of thing. But I was doing research on this, and I just saw that in 2008, this sold for only $160 less than I won it for on Dueling Dealers.
Hmm.
And that goes back to what Dean and I have said all along. We could throw all our stuff up on auction, but instead we perpetuate this way of sharing art, and that's what Mike did too. So clearly Mike wasn't raking in a whole bunch of money off of this, depending on how he got it. But it really, 14 years ago, only $180 less than what I got it for.
Right.
So,
Right. Well, I mean, we always try to enforce that. I mean, I know that sometimes the guys come in and they want top dollar for certain things, but a lot of the stuff they want it to sell because we want to have good shows too. So, and the recaps, obviously, uh, they've helped the show out a lot, and it's usually when you get to see the guys, giving breaks on the artwork. And for me, what I look at Dueling Dealers is something that for those of you, in the audience who haven't gone to cons and dealt with dealers directly, I really feel like this is like an opportunity to see how it really gets done. I mean, when people haggle, this is what's normally happens when you're trying to get an art purchase done and at a con or some sure you can do it over the phone with them, but I think it's just Dueling Dealers is a really unique opportunity to just experience the hobby in a way that most people only get to do it when they're face to face with a dealer. So
yeah.
Yep.
Well, and we've said it all. We have so much fun doing it, but it really is a way to share art. And I'd love it if we could trade. Growing up, remember how we traded? I used to trade comics and sports cards all the time. And so whenever, to this day, if I'm able to do a trade, I'm more than tickled to do a trade more than even a sale. So just another way to help art move around. That's really what it is, and that's we're all sharing it. That's part of it as well. This one here, this was off of Mike's site, so I had put this on well before Dueling Dealers. But this is a Cosmic Odyssey, so we know. I probably started that whole wave, but this is with Mike, not with Anthony. We all know that Anthony brings up to these pages. The reason I got this one more so is because you got Darkseid up here in the top panels. So anytime I can get a page with him with Darkseid alone, let alone Cosmic Odyssey. And I was always I remember when this series came out and reading it off the racks, and I just remember I thought, why isn't this more epic? And I don't know if it had to do with supply and demand at the time, but you can still get them in bargain bins now.
Right.
But to me, it was so epic when I read it. So I'm very lucky to own. This is my second page from Cosmic Odyssey. I'm very happy about it. But to me, it's very epic. The storyline as well as the character.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Yeah.
Hey, I never tire of seeing Cosmic Odyssey pages. I know it's a joke on the show now, but I love
it. This one, really, really happy to have, and really waiting for this one to come in too. This is Joe Chiodo here. And I got this one not too long ago. It's Black Widow off of Dueling Dealers. And I'm becoming more and more a fan of colored art, whether it's painted or watercolored or whatever form of that, because having so many art pages black and white, it's so refreshing. And to realize that these artists are putting actually a little more effort into it as well, right? I mean, they're drawing it, they're getting it plotted out, and then they're taking the time to paint it as well. So this is a larger board. It's actually really thick, and then you can just obviously feel the medium here in and the oil paintings that's used, not even watercolor from here. But this is one of my dueling dealer claims as well. So just, really happy to have this. This is definitely going to my bucket list folder.
I love it. Giotto is a phenomenal painter. His color palette is always really unique and brilliant. And this is a great piece. I knew that one was going to sell that night for sure.
Yeah, and I jumped on real fast. And there's really, besides the art form, it's got a lot of emotion in the storyline here. So I'm really interested. I actually honestly didn't read the story. Big fan of the art in this one here, but definitely going to go back to that story as well. So this is the one I saved for last. And Bill, I have you to thank for this. Is Dueling Dealers. This is the show that you stepped in for Mike.
Yes.
And, yes. And so you actually presented this, and I got this. This is actually a birth page of the Creature Commandos from Weird War Tale 93. And I can tell you that comic, I collected that comic. I look for any Creature Commandos art that I can. I only have a couple of pages. I say only. I'm not going to sound greedy, and then for you to have a birth page. This is the actual page. I don't know if you see it, but you got Dracula, Wolfman, Frankenstein. This is when they're just now being formed. They're just being literally coming to life as the Creature Commandos. You got the Wolfman there, and they're really, to my expression, being birthed into their characters along here. And you got Lieutenant Shreve, who's also his first appearance in the issue as well. So I mean, to get a birth page on Dueling Dealers, but of a title and of characters that I covet very strongly, one of the many reasons why I keep coming back every week to the shows. So I'm very happy to claim this. I can tell you, man, I could not type fast enough.
Because I was going to say, this is one of the ones you wouldn't have had to do like some quick research on. You knew it when you saw it.
No, I would, and it was a Saturday show.
It was.
So I wasn't in my office where I always got it ready to go. So I'm on the couch, and there was sports on TV, and I was doing half and half. And my eyes lit up when you said, Weird War Tales 93, and I'm going, whoa, and I know that. So I just wanted to make sure that the page had the characters on it, and then for it to be the birth page of them from the very first time coming into being formed as the team. Definitely up my alley, and definitely one of my most favorite of all my claims from Dueling Dealers. So thank you, Bill, for that, and thank you, Mike, as well.
Well, my pleasure. But yeah, that's a great box. We should all be so lucky to get 15 pieces of art in a single shipment from a dealer. That worked out good.
Like I said, I started it 2 years ago, and even I've been buying art from Mike for close to 20 years now. And I mentioned in my interview, Mike and Anthony, I've thanked them so much because they helped me get started into bigger pieces. I couldn't just dish out that kind of money at the time. So time payments with them have gone a long way with me. And so, you build that relationship with Mike. Obviously, Mike has a trust in me as well and lets me pay it as needed. And, he'll gently nudge you after a while if you go to, and I love the way he does his emails. Hey, buddy, how we doing on the art payments?
Yes. He talks out loud when he types like that too. I've been over there when he's like typing out his like reminder emails that he does to people. So yeah, no, but again, that's why time payments are needed. In this hobby, sometimes you can't drop a lot of money all at one time. Well, not many of us can. So
and it makes it easier for you if you got to move your own pages to get to those pages.
That's true.
So I've taken up too much of your time, Bill, and everybody in the audience as well. I just thought it was fun to open up the box with everybody. So I opened up with I call my OA Ohana. That's what I call it. So my family, my original art Ohana. A lot of fun getting these in. I can't wait to kind of get them home and get them into the folders and give them some more love too. So thank you, everybody, for your time. I appreciate that.
Jordan, I mean, great idea. I hope other people, you don't have to have 15 pieces in your next, art unboxing. Feel free if you got a couple or you got one special one that you want to open on camera. I'd be happy to give anybody the time that would love to do that. I think it just again, that's how we share the hobby, share the fun of it. That's why I love opening the boxes during the show, because I know everybody's like, you want to see what's inside of there. So congratulations. A 2-year wait was well worth it, Jordan.
Thank you, and I can't wait to put them up on CAF and share them even further with everybody as well. That's what CAF's all about, right? Sharing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, have a good night. Well, it's not even night there; it's afternoon. So enjoy the rest of your day. Oh man. All right. Thank you, Jordan.
All right. Thanks, guys. Aloha.
All right. Now that was pretty cool, wasn't it? I mean, I would love to do more of that. That was fun. I mean, I know that getting 15 pieces of art all at one time just doesn't happen for everybody. I mean, heck, I think the most I might have ever had in a delivery was like 3 pieces. So, but that's, yeah, just like Rich just said, quoting Nick Barucci, sharing is caring. Certainly is. So, yes, huge thank you to Jordan for doing that. And again, if anybody else wants to ever do something like that, please feel free, hit me up with an email. As long as you can hold on to that package for, well, I shouldn't say it like that, right? So, as long as you can keep that package in the corner and not open it for 3 weeks like Jordan had to do, since he, we were trying to work our schedules out. As long as you can resist temptation and not open the box, please hit me up. I'll definitely be happy to have you on the show, and we can go. We can all enjoy it together because it is fun. I mean, it's heck. For me, it's like when I go over to Berkey's and I do a bin dive just to look through the stuff. It's the same kind of feeling, you just get really excited to see artwork, especially in this case when you know it's yours. So again, anybody else wants to do it, my email address, just hit me up and we will work that out. So Eric is actually in the green room, so I want to get on with the CAF update and go over the highlights and sales from the last week, and then we'll do the 10 picks that he and I have both chosen. So why don't I get over and get this CAF update rolling here, because it was kind of an average week for both the dealers and the auction houses last week. It won't be for this week, of course, with the huge heritage auction going on right now. That's probably going to be a record for them. Marcus, I knew you were going to say something like that. I knew it. I'm never going to use that word again in my lexicon of we'll call them. Never mind. I'm not even going there. But at any rate, yes, dealers and auction houses, I think combined they were just over 500,000 last week, or maybe it was even close to 6, but better than the week before. Dealers sold around $314,466. So that was compared to 232,000 the week before. So it was almost like they took the week off last week, but this week they rebounded and are pretty much where they should be, just over 300,000 from the dealers whose sales I am tracking. Felix came out number 1. He had $92,500 in sales from 54 art sales. He had an art drop last week, of course. Albert was second, 21 sales, 55,000 in sales. Ramita Man had 9 sales for 47,000. Anthony was next, winning the sales total. If there was an award for that, he had 75 sales, and it was 45,000 total in sales. And then we had Next Comic Art, so Jiggy, 30 sales, $30,000 in sales. And then Will was bringing up the rear on the people who sold over 10 grand last week. He had 2 sales amounting to $22,000. So not a bad week for all around. Yeah, Ruben, come on, we're gonna get this thing done before midnight. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Remember, I told you I'm gonna have a beer when the show's over, so I have to talk faster so I can enjoy National Beer Day with all of you in one way or another. Let's see. So let me show you the top 6 sales from original comic art dealers from last week, as recorded by me. And remember, I only report on the dealers whose sites I host, because those are the only dealers and sales that I can substantiate. Even though I crawl several other dealers' websites and put their inventory on CAF, I don't include them in the sales data that we do, just because I can't tell that they marked something for sale. They could have taken something off of their site. And while I do have all of that data, I don't record it as part of the statistical analysis stuff that we do here for our market data. So it's another reason for dealers to work with me. If you want to kind of get extra PR and get your name out there a few extra times, have us build your website, and I can get you into these reports. So let me go ahead and show off. And you know what? The dealer report isn't loaded in my, how could the dealer report not be loaded in my stuff here? Here it is. All right. Well, so you got to hang on one extra second. I forgot. There was actually some, I give these to my son Ashton to put together the video clips, and there was some nudity in it. And so he sent me the files. He didn't tell me. And I kind of like looked at him. I knew it was there, but it didn't register. And about 30 minutes before the show, I was going over everything that I was going to do tonight. And I played that video clip, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't show that clip on the show. And it's a topless image, but so I had to go and edit it, and I forgot to reload it into to my queue here. But now I can show it. So I'm going to show you the top 6 sales from comic art dealers last week. So first up is this. Let's see, it was Batman Black and White. This is a complete story by Nick Dragotta, sold for $25,000 by Felix Comic Art. And, I don't recall how many pages were in this story, but solid price there from Felix and Nick. Next up, we have a sale from, this is Ramita Man sold this one. Greg Hildebrandt. This is a vintage Star Wars front cover and back, huge painting. There's always superlatives in anything Ramita Man writes. This one went for the asking price of $22,000. Oh, look at this one, Fish. An Infinity Gauntlet, issue 4, page 9 by Perez, sold by Albert Moy for the asking price of $20,000. Didn't look like a good day for Hulk or Drax there. So here was the piece I had to edit. This was a Jim Steranko Calendar Girls piece. Miss Nude April, my birthday month, in fact. The Blonde Phantom. This one sold for $20,000 from Ramita Man. And 2 more to go. All-Star Squadron 11 cover from 1982, Joe Kubert. This was sold by Will, $12,500 asking price on that one. And then finally, another Nick Dragotta. This was just the cover, listed as just the cover to Ghost Cage issue 1, sold by Felix for $12,000. So very nice. But there you go. See, I had to do a little extra editing on my son's stuff. I'm going to let him know that from now on, whenever he encounters a little bit of nudity, he should figure out how to cover it up so we don't show that stuff on the channel. At least when we can help it, right? You guys. All right. So finally, now we've got the auction house results. The auction house results, general, the week before, $252,000 in sales. This week, $275,000 in sales. Heritage's weekly auction amounted to $116,000 in sales, and eBay came in ahead of them at $160,000 in sales. So, but of course, with 6 times the volume, but still, they come out on top usually against Heritage in the weekly sales results. So I'm going to show you the top 3 eBay and the top 3 from Heritage, and all 3 from eBay finally didn't have a make offer, and I think 1 was a buy it now, and 2 were auction results. So nothing that I had to go back and research what a make offer price on anything. But here is the auction results. So again, first 3 from eBay. Overall sales again was $275,933 between Heritage and eBay for last week. First up is this Jack Kirby Joe Sinnott FF81 page. I'm sure a lot of people were watching this one. This one sold for $14,900, had a ton of bids on it. Everybody wanted it, and you can see why. It's a beautiful page. Next up is this Hal Foster Prince Valiant piece from 1966, sold for $8,000. It was actually listed at $15,000, and then the seller marked it for sale or on sale at $8,000, and it sold at that. Finally, and I don't know why this says Mike Mignola on it. I'll have to kick my son for that one. But this is, of course, Jack Kirby Joe Sinnott FF70 page, and this one went for $7,900. So here are the 3 Heritage picks. And boy, my son is going to be in trouble today because this is not George Perez. It's Al Milgram and Jim Mooney, for crying out loud. $7,200 on this Spectacular Spider-Man page. Okay, my son is going to does he get fired or doc pay? That's Dick Ayers, of course, original Ghost Rider, number 11, 5 pages, sold for $4,560. And who's this artist going to be? Liam Sharp. It is not Liam Sharp, Ashton. It's Dick Ayers, Two Gun Kid, for issue 69, page 1 splash, went for $3,840. What am I going to do with that kid? He can't hear me anyway. He's probably got his headphones on. All right, well, I hate it when we get mistakes like that. I didn't watch that one. I guess I should have. I knew there wasn't any nudity in that one, so I didn't feel I had to prove it. But it is April Fool's just 1 week later, Marcus. Yeah, I can't fire family, can I? All right. Well, I know he's in the other room, but I'll have a talking with him later. Bill gets the nose real bright. Well, I got him written down. I mean, he had him written down too. At least he got the prices right. I think I didn't look that closely after I realized we were off the rails there. But he could have started drinking. My son, he does not like anything carbonated, so he doesn't drink beer. He actually tried a Guinness, and he kind of felt that was okay. But he doesn't drink soda pop or anything that has carbonation in it. So nope, I can't blame it on the beer. Rum and Coke, maybe. Well, no, but see, that's got carbonation in it. I don't know what he drinks. Anyway, like I said, I cannot fire him. sentence him to read the Two Gun Kid archives or the original Ghost Rider. All right, you guys are absolutely right. minimum wage, Bill. Yep. Well, yeah, we'll figure a way to penalize him for that. Thank you, Todd. All right. Well, you know what? Eric has been patient. He's been in the green room. He's been watching the show for a little bit. So let me bring Eric into the stream with me, and let me fix this thing where I'm not gigantic. There we go. That's better. Hey, Eric, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Bill? Great for Ashton.
Boy, we're gonna have it talking with that kid. He was in a hurry. He had someplace. He's got a friend in town, and he is going to Berlin in 2 weeks because, as everybody knows, I've talked about my kids being Pokemon, rock stars. They've both Ashton and my youngest daughter have always ranked in the top 8 in the country when playing Pokemon DS. So they've gotten to go to tournaments all over the world, paid flights, everything, and Berlin is, I think, in 2 weeks, and they, and they've lifted, they finally lifted the COVID restrictions because they haven't actually been doing tournaments in person for the last 2 years. So this is his first big tournament after really taking 2 years off, and so he's got his confidant, that they kind of train together. He's here in town with him to kind of get him back up to snuff, so he doesn't embarrass himself in Berlin. But that's no excuse to screw up on my work. So anyway, nice to have you, Eric. Obviously, we did the interview last month, and you've been helping me out with those icons. I think we're going to get those on the site.
Yeah, we're super close. We're super close. I think we're going to get final this week.
That's true. I think, and the icons we're talking about are the ones for the best of. Remember, I showed the how Maureen had done the page programming to show the best of icons on your art or in your gallery. So those should be on. I'm going to guess by this time next week, roughly, I'll have those integrated into the site, so you'll be able to see whose best of artworks got those icons. Yes, we're getting there. We're getting there. Trust me. And then once that's done, I'm going to be moving on and thinking about redesign stuff. I'm actually talking with a developer tomorrow about some app stuff. Cool. to explore. I know, Eric, you talked to me about being able to do it. I had somebody reach out to me as well who was like, saying, hey, I'd love to help out or give you some pointers or whatever. And I'm like, I'll be a sponge. You tell me, I'll tell you what I want to do, and then we'll see what you think is possible. And it's the right time to be doing this. We really want to make this next 12 months about solid improvements to CAF, the look and feel, the user interface, and mobile friendly's got to happen. Mobile first, Eric. I know you told me. I hate thinking mobile first. I hate to tell you that, but I know if you work from mobile backwards, life is good, right?
You got it.
I know. It's so hard to think that way, though. That as a developer, somebody who's come from that from.
Hey, old guys like us, we got to reframe our thinking. I mean, I'm just like you. There's no mic in my frame either. I'm way too old for that. I'm not one of the kids.
No, I hear you, but we're gonna get there. So I think that sorry, I'm looking at a couple things here, but we've definitely got some good stuff planned, and I think that and there's a few people in the audience who I've also emailed with on the design and thought process on things, and they know who they are. We've got some good conversations. I think they're going to be coming up. It might take me another month to kind of get to that point, but I'm trying to just get everything lined up so we can do it right and make CAF better and great and ready for the next 20 years. So
well, you've had one or two things going on, so I think everybody can give you a little bit of time.
I know. Well, I feel like I've been waiting 5 years for this. I'll be honest. I mean, I've been wanting to do these things for that long, and I kept putting in things on the back burner. But I think we're finally there. But Mel, no front page development. I never liked front page. I did use Dreamweaver a bit in the early days of our development, but we dropped that. I mean, once Maureen was fully on board and she was writing all of our code custom, we just abandoned using any kind of GUI interface to do web work at all. And that was
all those WYSIWYGs. Ugh.
I know, it was a mess. Messy code, lots of messy code. But let's talk about the art right now. Yeah. You initially had sent me 20 pics.
I did, because I didn't understand the whole process. I thought that because with your 10 pics, I thought maybe we were going to slim them down or like do it together so I wouldn't overlap any of yours. But real quickly realized that was not right and sent you the revised list.
No, yeah, it's always 10. But see, so you'll be ready the next time we do this. If you're not like so
If I'm
turned
welcome
off.
back. If I'm welcome
Okay.
back.
If you're not, yeah, if you're welcome back and not turned off by the experience. So let's go ahead. Let me get the screen sharing thing working here. And sorry, again, too many tabs today. But and yeah, that was this one. I want to get it on the first artwork here. All right. So let me get this moved around just a little bit. All right, there we go. And it was funny, you know, when I loaded this up, I was like, man, how did I manage to leave Nate Sanders Auctions on, ad on there? Because it ended last Thursday. so as soon as I loaded up this page, I went and I turned Nate's ad off because it should have turned off by itself on that day. But we're not here to talk about Nate's ad. We're here to talk about this Adi Granov piece. So go for it, Eric.
Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of Adi Granov, and you know what really drew me to this is the overall texture use and what he's doing with his line quality to blend and to go ahead and bring volume is just really, really incredible. And the fact that he's using that technique with Mr. Freeze just adds an extra level of dimension to it. And you know, it's just it's such a soft and yet striking piece that the composition, I mean, you take a look at it from the fact that you've got just a bust sketch here, but it's just so well formed and so much more than that, I mean, this to me was just a striking piece.
It is. And you know, and this was actually in the sketchbook. I know somebody's going to point out to me that this piece was on CAF before, but it was added to the sketchbook for this month. And that's why it was as a new piece. But no, I love Adi's work. I mean, this is, you know, it's just so nice. And it's funny, you know, again, not being a DC guy, I love the character design. I've always have. And you know, this is just it's just a great piece. And I can't I want to put a like on it so I don't forget. But and it's an ink wash too. Okay, I didn't even realize. I thought when I first looked at it, I thought it was all pencil. It's an ink. Wow.
Yeah, it's an ink wash.
That is, yeah. Well, it's really, really nice.
Well, yeah, and you look at just like how delicate he even gets in terms of the like with the jaw and the cheek line in there and everything. And I mean, that's just a masterful approach to that.
Nope, I completely agree. No, this is a good one. I wish the scan was bigger. See, but that's okay. Who was the owner on this one? Oh, Chad. All right, I have been in Chad's CAF gallery a few times. All right, well, that's a good first pick here. Now we've got 9 more to go through. And we actually looked at this piece last week because it was because I wasn't familiar with the artist Martin Simmons, but this piece is a doozy. I think we said it. I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, this is just beautiful to take a look at. And I mean, instantly you get a connection with Gustav Klimt and just over the geometric patterns that are put into this and the way that you could look at this and seeing it being incredibly busy, but it's not. And it's all due to the composition about this. And Sienkiewicz, I mean, I get Sienkiewicz vibes off of this as well. And just the use of the color palette that really highlights, you know, you get this strike of Magic's hair against the black of like the limbo armor, and then you've got just Warlock going all around it. And it's just such an incredibly striking piece that these are one of those pieces that I take a look at it and I go, it's amazing that it's comic book characters and everything, but this is just art on top of it. I mean, this just to me was it just blew me away when I took a look at this, and I just was looking at it for minutes and minutes at a time. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, no, this is absolutely fantastic. I mean, because I think we popped into it last week because we came across Martin Simmons' name, I think from another piece that was featured, and I didn't know their name, and so I went and searched and found this piece on CAF 2 was just recently added. I guess they did a set of commissions recently, but yeah, this thing is fabulous. Just like you said, it's looks like Gustav Klimt. It's a little bit Sienkiewicz. It's just I want to get a commission from them now. You know, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. Very good pick. No, so see, like you just said, I could just stare at this thing for a while, but a great selection on this one.
Yeah, I mean, in the composition, even you can just tell. I mean, he understands what he's doing. How it draws your eyes draws your eye up from the upper left all the way down to the bottom into the right, and then it just completely frames Magic on that. And it's, you know, it's being able to use multiple characters to be able to tell a deeper story with a composition that's just really cool.
No, I agree. No, it's beautiful. And something to lament. Mikhail says, such a shame. I feel like it's panned on DOT because he's a Sienkiewicz heir. I guess so. Yeah. Well, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, you figure Sienkiewicz was panned for being a Neil Adams, kind of a clone, and
everybody's got some piece of that too. And I mean, what is it? The saying is like, good artists borrow, great artists steal.
Exactly. And and the ones that really make something for themselves usually develop their own style, and that's what Sienkiewicz did. And I mean, everybody evolves. You have to, I mean, you have to follow the masters sometimes, right? I mean, when I was trying to draw, I thought I'd be an illustrator. I was trying to draw like John Byrne and George Perez when I was,
Right.
15 and 16 years old. I mean, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And hey, if you're gonna mix anything, Klimt and Sienkiewicz is not a bad place to be working from,
Right.
All right, so let's see. Next up, let me get my like on this one.
Yeah, so we're holding true to still no Spidey art, and I mean, this is just absolutely fantastic. I mean, and this is the Daredevil, and this is JR at some of the top of his game in terms of just the overall, just all of the additional folds within the clothing that's being done here. It's great up close because you get to see all of the detail, but I actually like viewing this one when you see the entire composition, because it's a completely different experience in terms of how you see all of the action leading directly up into Daredevil, and then but then he still uses all of the negative space so well to really bring the emphasis right into the characters, and the use of contrast of black and white, and really making sure that you've got Daredevil popping on this. I mean, this is just beautiful. And I mean, and I can't look at this without thinking Frank Miller. I can't look at this without thinking about all of the different places that I could have seen pieces like this being in parts of, Sin City. And it's just a really, really striking piece, and very, very similar to some pieces that were in Heritage.
Yes, you are correct on that. But no, it's beautiful, and I mean, Al Williamson on Don Romita Jr., it's like a match made in heaven. I mean, I would think if Romita Jr. could have it his way, Williamson would have been inking him his entire career.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's a beautiful page. It really is. And and the detail of the mob is worth the page alone. I mean, it's just fantastic. And then you get that as the Daredevil,
and you get such great detail in there, and then yet Daredevil is just this stark contrast of just flat black, and how that really takes that and pops him out even further. It's just really, really cool. I mean, that's Williamson doing just what Williamson does.
Yep. No, I agree. Lovely page. And whose gallery? Oh, Imran A. Okay, fantastic. Imran's got a very awesome CAF collection for those of you who have not visited it. I don't think I put the description or the link to our show in the show description tonight. I really should fix that. But I don't know if I've got that. Oh yeah, here. I'll just throw it in the chat so that you can have it. And if you want to look at these in more detail, you can always follow along here, and I'll make sure I get it in the description of the show for those coming in later to see it that way too. But there you go. You have the link. You can see any of the artworks in their full detail, not on your tiny screen or whatever you might be using right now. All right. Next is Eric Powell piece.
Yeah. And I'm a huge fan of Eric Powell, and just a true artist in my opinion, and just a great tradesman, draftsman, however you want to refer to it. But he can go, and he's so good at blending out his style from realism into more cartoony, dependent on what the composition and what the characters are in here. So this one goes into a little bit more of composition, but he's just such a master of color too. Here he's using some just straight primary colors to really bring and blend out the characters. And he can go from straight comic into caricature into cartoon, and he blends it all together so well. And I've just been a huge fan of Powell for years, and when I saw this one, I actually when I had my original 20, there were 2 Powells in there that I was kind of taking a look at, and I had to go ahead and choose one. And this one I just love. And even though I'm not a huge Goon fan, I'm a huge Powell fan.
Yeah, I've actually never read The Goon. I hate to say it, but I mean, I have always loved Eric's work, and he's just, his tonal quality and his characters. I mean, whether you see an all pencil piece or an ink piece or a painted piece, I mean, his work's just brilliant. I mean, and again, like this piece, I love the composition, and but yeah, no, this is a very nice pick. Now, what was this from? I didn't read that before I got here. Oh, The Goon. It's from 2003. Nothing But Misery. Oh,
And he's such a master of anatomy, because let's be honest. I mean, comic book anatomy is so exaggerated, but when he does an exaggeration of it, he carries it throughout that entire character, and it adds like a level of realism to it that you if you saw the Goon walking around, like, I mean, in real life like that, it'd be grotesque, but in here it just works so well because he keeps it and holds that exaggeration throughout the entire figure so well. Very cool.
Yeah, he does. As like Chris wrote, another trade coming to Bill. Every time I say I haven't read it, I hate to say that too, because I really enjoy. I'm assuming this is kind of in a horror vein, but I love horror comics, and it's just one I never picked it up. It's my fault. I mean, it's not like I didn't see Eric at like so many San Diego cons that I've gone to and look and kind of thumb through the artwork that he brought with him, but I never ever picked up a copy of the book. But oh well. I haven't read any of the Excalibur yet. It's still like in the stack of things I'm supposed to do right next to me. I did finish the Sean Gordon Murphy trade paperback today. It took me 2 weeks to read it. So that just tells you how slow I read comics. But a good pick here, because I don't think we've really picked a lot of Eric Powell's work in the past. So a painted piece is a good one to feature tonight.
Yeah.
All right. So Terry Dodson, this is Defenders 7 cover.
Yeah, I mean, what really do I need to say? It's Terry Dodson, and we've seen this composition for so many different covers, but I mean, he just puts his own spin on it, and you've got Black Cat right up front, and it's just gorgeous to look at. I mean, the way that he can highlight and make the textures are like the latex of her suit shine, and the way that Surfer is shining, and the way that he even did it, like a little bit of shine there on Iron Fist and everything. And if you scroll down a little bit further, it's got Spider-Man vibes. So I mean, I think this was probably the closest to my Spider-Man pick. I mean, you've got her line there kind of wrapped around a little bit like webbing, but it's also just so fun. I mean, you look at this, and this is just comic book art done so well.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I want to look at this. I like looking at the larger images, but sometimes just to get the whole composition, and you got to go back to the smaller one. But yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, come on, anything that Terry and Rachel touch usually, really comes off beautifully. And now this is, he just draws flowing hair like no other. I mean, his characters are spot on, and they're representations of them. I mean, this is a great one. And you're right, you've been missing out on the Spidey. I'm proud of you.
I really tried to hold myself. I mean, to not doing it. We'll see if we hold true.
Yes, we will. But no, it's a great pick. And again, Terry and Rachel, I don't think that we really choose too much of their artwork on here, and I don't know why, but you have corrected us for that. So this is in let's see, Larry Ton has really been dropping some really great art on CAF of late. I mean, I guess Larry kind of does that all the time as well. He dropped a Sal Buscema ROM page recently too, I believe. So he's hit. You got to always check out Larry's CAF. If you're a premium member, make sure you're following him. Am I following Larry? You know what? I don't think I'm actually following
him.
Yeah, look, I'm not. Okay, well, let me fix that. There we go, Larry. Now I am following your CAF. I apologize for that. Now it is fixed. All right, so this is in Martin Tang's CAF gallery, Green Arrow by Carlos.
And so I mean, this Carlos Pacheco, and what struck me about this one is, Pacheco's got such an amazing style, but for me, when we're thinking about Green Arrow, it's such an angular character. I mean, it's always, you know, some of the best Green Arrows for me are where he's got the really angular goatee. And then you look at the way that it's drawn here, and there's so many sharp angles. And you look at that hand that's releasing the bow, the right hand, and the anatomy of that is so strikingly spot on, and the pose here and the color and using a little bit more of the muted green in here, it's just a gorgeous piece. And you know, the color, this is like one of those ones where I think this is probably more of a photograph than a scan, and sometimes I like that too, because I can see more of the, you know, the color of the page is a piece of this as well, because the color matches that so incredibly well. And it's just a beautiful commission.
No, it really is. I've always liked Carlos's work too, and I don't feel like I've seen a lot of commissions or convention sketches posted by him. I'll have to do some searching on CAF, but no, this is great. Colors are great. Everything about the the characterization of Green Arrow is fantastic.
Yeah, and Marcus is absolutely. I mean, Marcus put in the comments too. It makes it look like an old sketch, and it does. I mean, there's such a graphic nature to this, and the way that it's put together. And Carlos understands that. I mean, this would be something that you could go ahead and reproduce. It's got the contrast between the dark and the light, and it's just fantastic.
Yep, and Chris got in a comment. He said the mustache is the bow and the beard is an arrowhead. Thank you, Chris. You're always the ever observant Chris, who will be back with us next week, if you can make it on Friday, just so you know. But no, it's a good pick. And again, I don't think Carlos is another artist that I don't think that we feature too often. And so no, fantastic. See, this is why we have guests come onto the show, because we're always bringing in new pieces that I guarantee you I probably would have overlooked. But here's one that I wouldn't have overlooked. I would have picked this one myself as well. This is in Steve Rizzoco's CAF collection, Silver Surfer Black, issue 2, page 12 by Trad Moore.
Yeah. And I mean, I wasn't I mean, I didn't know about Trad Moore for a hot second. And now every time that I'm looking at his work, it's Trad Moore is one of those artists that I'm like, I know he's going to go blind drawing like this, and I'm kind of okay with it, even though I don't want it to happen to him. It's this amount of detail that he puts into this, and the way that he uses shape, the way that he uses geometry in this. It's just absolutely. I mean, it's Trad Moore. You can't see something from Trad and not know that it's clearly a distinct piece. And it's just, you know, and the way that he does Surfer on that top panel too is just striking. If you could scroll up real quick. I mean, the way that he's using that and just blurring it through and using motion, it's just, this page just blew me away.
Yeah, no, Trad is he's very thoughtful in his execution. When you look at it, you figure it's just got to be kind of free form, free flowing the way he does things, but it just can't be, because it's just way too thought out. And like you just said, the first panel, he's showing motion in a way that, I mean, have I ever seen motion drawn like that in a comic before? I don't recall, but it probably not. And it's just so unique that this kind of thing just doesn't happen. It's not happenstance. He's not looking for accidents here. This is so well thought out that, you know, I just love his artwork. I mean,
yeah, and it honestly, it really makes me think back to some of the really, really old Doctor Strange, and, you know, back when they were using all of the geometric shapes, and when there was the rumors about whether or not all the artists were taking LSD and what they were doing with that. I mean, it's. I agree with you though that this doesn't happen by accident. This is someone this is an artist that can take a look at the page and says, this is the type of story I want to tell. This is the composition that I want to use, and knows how to use a space in a way that it's not overused or underused, and it's just beautiful. I mean, I would love to see this page in person and get really close, even maybe with like a loop, and just get really down into that detail to see just how articulate it is.
I would agree.
Very cool.
It is not. And whose CAF gallery was this? Oh, Steve Rizzoco's. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, look, I mean, I've actually got my loop. I use it quite often to check out artwork. Yeah, just because I like seeing the detail on things, so I keep it close by.
If you haven't seen his gallery too, he had a couple more Trad Moore pieces that he posted too. So this was and they're all stunners.
All brush, as Mikhail just mentioned. Yep, and sheer technical. Yeah, well, hey, you've got it, Mikhail. You know it.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. I got my like on this one. We got 3 more here to look at. First up, let me go like here, and this is in Michael Lovett's CAF gallery.
Yeah,
and
it's Koipel, it's Thor, it's recreation, it's it's incorporating the title into the art. I mean, Koipel is just fantastic, and you looking at the detail of the armor on Thor and the highlighting of the leg and removing detail to show light, and it's I don't know much more I can say about this. It's just I'm such a fan of Koipel's work, and this is just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, no, I love his work as well. I mean, and I love the way he draws Thor, and you can almost tell. I mean, when you see the armor, you think Koipel. I mean, because he has a very definitive style in the way he draws the armor, and no, it's beautiful. I didn't read the description on this one from Michael. Was this like? Let me see here. What did he write up about it?
He didn't write a ton.
Yeah, some cover by okay. What was this? It's the omnibus cover, huh? So he did the logo and everything as part of it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dang. Well, a good pick. I mean, I don't think Koipel is somebody we feature too often here as well. So this was inks by Mark Morales, and it mentions James Pascoe as a restorer. So maybe James did the logo work on it.
Might have, yeah.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, he's probably showing original artwork before the logos and the stats. Okay.
Oh, that's what was put into it then, sure.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I saw James Pascoe was in the Wondercon clip. I saw him as the camera panned through Artist Alley. So another good pick here. And here, oh gosh, I wonder who owns this artwork.
Well, so the reason I had to pick this is because I was doing inventory on like my gold bricks that I have, and I forgot that I didn't have a gold brick that I would have, so I wanted to make sure and post that. And I saw then that that Scott, I forgot I had a McFarlane page that I needed to post, and so I did lie. I mean, I had to have at least a little bit of Spidey in here, and
there is.
I had to bust Scott's chops a little bit on the fact that he forgot that he had this and needed to go ahead and post it if you haven't read the description on it. But this is just a stunner. I mean, this is McFarlane, and just really this is McFarlane. I mean, you've got Spidey coming slinging in. You've got all of the action. You've got Scorpion in there. It's just a fantastic page.
It is. It really is. And McSpidey fan posted a few McFarlanes recently, but yeah, this was probably one of my favorites of the ones that he did post. But yeah, it's great. And I knew the Spidey was coming. I knew we weren't going to not.
Had to do at least one. And and then it's also, it's McFarlane, and yeah, Scott's been posting Scott's just been posting fire recently. I think that he's almost posting a McFarlane a week at least, and but this one was just on top for me. And I remember reading this book. I remember seeing these pages, and that's one of the things that I love about seeing the art, that when I can go back and remember when I was reading it and seeing it in print and then seeing the original art, it's just nostalgia overload, and it's just a cool piece, and really glad that he posted it.
Yep, I am as well. McSpidey fans collection just continues to impress. And yeah, I was looking at it now. I see Ruben is saying it was pronounced Quapel, not Koipel.
Quapel. Oh, thank you,
well,
Ruben.
I'll just tell you that I've always called him Koipel because that is how Quan pronounced his name. I mean, even at a show right in front of him to me. So if his name isn't pronounced Koipel, then Quan's the bigger fool than I am, because he literally the twice that I've seen him at New York Comic Con together. He always said Koipel, but hey, I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting old and I didn't hear him right. Anyway, but I'll keep that in mind. Let's see. So that was from Spidey 318. So next up, final piece. And this is in Mike Time's collection. Oh, Michael. Okay, Michael Molinario. member of the site since 2011. I don't think I've ever been in their CAF gallery, but it's a Stroman piece.
Yep. And I'm an absolute sucker for really graphic art. And this is just it's just hitting all of the marks for me. And Dark Phoenix is just such a fantastic character to begin with. And then just the to have the forethought to go ahead and say, I'm going to take this composition and take the hair and turn it into this piece that just strikes through the page, leads all the way down into the character, and then have so much black around there that it fills in that space. This is just an absolutely beautiful piece. And and I love the pose too. I mean, there's so many different people that render Dark Phoenix in many different ways, and I always like these like really calm before the storm kind of moments where there's just so much calamity just brought right into it, but it's still so incredibly lovely. I saw this and it just popped to me right away, and it's definitely one that I've gone back and taken a look at several times since.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really well executed. I mean, it says pen and ink because it looks like there's some texture in that area to the right, but maybe
It
that's
does.
just, yeah, because it really does look like it's got some depth to it. But either way, I mean, this is, Stroman is, I've always loved Stroman's work, and I know that he is kind of, he got behind on commissions for many people, and so, that his name isn't always like synonymous with greatness. But I mean, I've always really, really liked his style a lot, and in this piece, that's so unique. I mean, how often have you seen an approach to hair in that way? I mean, it just complements the pose of the figure, and the heavy use of blacks in this thing. The high contrast and everything. I mean, this is really, really lovely.
And there might be like some light gouache in there. I mean,
yeah,
it'd be hard to say. I mean, but this would also be one of those pieces that I could tell that seeing this in person would be a completely different experience. You'd get the texture of it. You'd feel the weight of it. You'd get those inky blacks, and you'd see the scratching in that hashing. It would add to it because it's beauty through some of that chaos, and it's a beautiful piece.
it really is.
Stroman is just really fantastic.
I would, unless it would Chris say, Stroman is the definitive strong guy artist. That's true. So yeah, everybody likes this piece. So a great pick. I actually didn't see this one until you sent me your list. So I'm glad you picked it, because otherwise I might not have ever gotten to see it. And that's another reason why we like having guests pick artwork, Eric. So good job. You did well. Your choices were perfect. Now I have to kind of compare mine to yours. I don't know how I'm going to stack up here.
Oh, but please. I'm doing 10 picks after I'm following Jordan's Berkey box. I mean,
I know we both are really struggling here after that. I mean, man, 3 title pages in that box. Whew, man.
I mean, I was just looking at that, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, Bill, end the show now. You got your picks right there.
I mean, I had a feeling that there was going to be some good stuff in there, because I didn't know. He didn't tell me. He just said they were going to be some picks from, Dueling Dealers and other things. But yeah, no, that was
banger
cool.
after banger after banger.
And he had to show me a piece that I had made a comment on it, earlier, like, why was this in there? And that was a beautiful piece too. So yeah. So we got 16 pieces in, not just 15.
Well, it's Jordan. I mean, let's come.
Hey, Jordan can, he has been an asset to the channel since the day since the day he and Dino did their first amateur show, right? I mean, I would, anything Jordan asked me to do, he's got time on the channel. I owe him a great deal. I'm looking forward to having him on the show in 2 weeks from now with Nick Barucci. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Michael, if you want to see the other 11 through 20, just hit me up on CAF and I'll send them all to you.
There you go. I was willing to go through it and pick your 10, and then so I'm glad that you didn't make me do that. But I was like, all right, I'm going to pick which 10 you get. So,
well, I'm excited to see yours now.
Well, we'll see. You may not be after you see him. So, all right, here we go. Starting off now, this one. I mean, this is
okay. Full disclosure. This was also in my 20.
How could it not be, right?
Right.
I mean, but yeah, Fish can hold it against you that it wasn't in your 10, but it made it to my 10. What more do I need to say? I know that this was the piece that if anybody saw Fish mentioning that he had this planes, trains, and automobiles moment to pick up this art. It was to pick up this one by Ron Lim, Tom Christopher, Silver Surfer 50, Title Splash. Title Splash. We all love title splashes, right? But man, oh man, oh man, oh man, this thing is unbelievable. I mean, look at the space behind them is is so incredibly detailed. But then oh my gosh, you get Thanos in the little astral form, vision in the page, and oh my gosh, just everything about this page just blows me away.
Yeah, I mean the story of this page alone and what he went through to get it is in and of itself miraculous. And but you look at this and this to me right here is such a perfect example of when someone says, "What is the power cosmic?" There you go.
Man, I mean, it is. I just love it. This thing is just mind numbing. I can't even imagine. Fish, you should have had somebody recording you when you when you actually opened it up and looked at it the first time, had it in your hands, because I can only imagine that kid in the candy store feel that you must have had when you saw this piece for the first time in person. Oh my gosh! I mean, I can't even. Just knowing that this is a storyline and characters that you really really love, to get a piece like this and add it to your collection. It's just. It has to be such an amazingly great feeling. I mean, we talked about this last week when people get there's something that really is their grail that they've been seeking for a long time. I mean, those experiences don't happen too often. I mean, we all buy art, right? Art that we love, but pieces that hit a home run and just really just make your world a better place. It's pieces like this, and that happen. And again, I'm very. It's great to see it on CAF, and I'm glad this is in your collection, Fish. Bank account gap. Says Fish. Well, you did invent the thigh gap, so you're allowed to invent the bank account gap now as well. I think that should become. We should hashtag that and use that in the future. So, all right, did I get my like on this one? Yes, I did. All right. Well, it definitely needs more comments, everybody. It's only got 47 comments so far in a week, so you guys can get some more comments on there now this evening. Now that you know where it's at, if you haven't already.
Yeah.
All right. Now, this is in number one, Groove Fan, of course, Duke Fleed. And I haven't picked anything from Duke in a while, I don't think. But this is Frank Miller, Sin City Family Values page. I pick a lot of Frank Miller artwork, of course. And, for sometimes I feel like I pick too much. But this page I just love. I love the layout. I love just the way it's broken. I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, as a pair of effectively three different kind of panels here that aren't really panels at all. But I just love the way it's constructed. I love the heavy blacks on this one. Again, it's a high contrast piece, like the Stroman piece was. Yep. I mean, I like a lot of Frank Miller Sin City art is, but I just love it. I love the skates, the way they're drawn. I mean, they're kind of silly, not completely they're kind of cartoony. But and I guess in a weird way, I guess that's the way Miller draws. I never really thought of it like that before, in this style here. But again, just I love the lighting in that central image around the characters there. Just again, everything about it is just makes this a really wonderful page. And I'm sure Duke was really pleased when he picked this one up as well.
And you talk about graphic pages too, and I mean, I don't know if Frank Miller's got to be in your top 5 in terms of who can do contrast and stark contrast better than him. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just amazing, and it's a fantastic page.
Yep, I completely agree. And I can't click on it. I hate when I can't click on images to look closer at them. But nope, great pickup is all. Lots of comments on this one. So congratulations to Duke Fleed for this wonderful pickup. And next up,
and I mean, I'm not kidding. I can produce the document. So far, all 3 of these were in my other list as well.
All right. Well, see, and the thing is, I never looked at your 20 list, just so you know. I did, because I was going to, and then you sent me the updated list. So
you got them both. You can prove me right.
But we'll see. Then you're not even have to share your list, because maybe all 10 of them are going to be in mine. Declan Shalvey on this one. Andy Wurst is the collector for this one. This is the cover to Venom 37. I think I can click on this one. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. Big image. But just as far as a graphic cover. This is just, the design is so well done. I mean, the cityscape alone is really nice, but just the way the electric wires or phone lines, whatever, the way they're handled here above and below the character. And again, this is one where I really should be looking at it, not zoomed in. It's just really, really, I knew when I saw this image as a thumbnail that I was going to pick it, because I could see the graphic composition was just so perfect. And I guess when I looked at the image in more detail, with I'm not like crazy in love with like the way the posture of the character leaning forward, but I just love the graphic design of this page, from the cityscape to the wires. I just think it's a really, really well executed page. And I think it's funny because I when I can compare this to other pieces I've picked in the past, I think I find myself looking at pieces that use silhouettes a lot, and maybe that's just part of it's in my makeup of the artwork that I like. But yeah, I just love this page, and congratulations to Andy on this pickup.
This is one too that where the actual art of it is, so, in my opinion, so much better than the actual colored cover. And the Spidey homage with it, and I mean, with this being, with Flash being Venom, I mean Agent Venom and everything, the color takes away a little bit of it.
It does,
in my
yeah.
opinion. It's not nearly as striking, and it's definitely one that I wish they would have just kept black and white.
Huh. No, I agree. Oh, here he's got rough concepts too. I didn't even look that far. All right. Well, he definitely made the right choice on going after the third one.
Oh yeah.
Huh. All right. Well, great addition, Andy, and I love Declan's work. This is really, really, really stunning. All right, I got my like on that, and I actually picked 11 pieces this week. Everybody, I'm sorry I cheated. But this one is in Dino's collection, and I used this as the show thumbnail when he added it to his CAF last week. Heck, I think I actually picked it on Wednesday, maybe Thursday, but it was an early pick for me. I'd set it aside, and I kind of was hoping that Eric noticed so he wouldn't pick it as well, so we get to talk about it. But this is a painting by Mick Austin, of course, and this is it's just phenomenal. I mean, it's beautiful, and we always talk about Dino adding home runs to his and Falcons. I guess we can call them Falcons now, to his CAF gallery and his amazing collection. But this one was just absolutely beautiful and historic. I mean, Miracle Man. You're not going to find too many cover images with Miracle Man on it, but this one, man, is just absolutely great. I mean, the colors are spot on. I mean, this is just a beautiful painting. And again, lots of city in here, but this thing is just, what year is it? 83. Man, it makes me feel old. But yeah, again, just a beautiful, beautiful piece. And Dino, again, I say it every week. I feel like, but Dino just keeps adding these amazing artworks, these amazing Falcons to his CAF gallery.
Beautiful use of color. This one wasn't one that I picked.
Okay.
But again, just beautiful use of color, and to understand primary colors in the way that are being used here, it just completely, totally brings this to life and adds a whole new dimension to it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, no, I agree. And as Dino just said, pure 80s magic. That is so true. That is so very true. And look, and just so everybody knows, I really appreciate it when we do get images that show the published cover, and even with creators like that. I think it's good that we try to complete the story of the artwork that we post on here, and I have no problem whatsoever with sharing creator photos and things of that nature. I think it's good educationally for people who stumble into CAF for whatever reason that we're able to do this, because it's not like programming that I've put into CAF that, if I know, there's a creator like Alan Moore, like I'm not sharing a link that goes over to Alan Moore's creator page on CAF, like I probably should. I mean, I think those are shortcomings of the site's programming currently that aren't there. So I have no problem with people showing images like that in, when they're posting art. I just think it tells a bit more of the story about the hobby and the creators making the artwork, and I definitely always appreciate seeing a published image with it. So I hope people who are concerned about me like feeling like you shouldn't be using CAF to be showing things like photographs and whatnot. I do think it's an important part of it, and I appreciate seeing that. And I've got my like on that one. So next up is from Nick Barucci's CAF gallery. And Nick has told I think the story a few times about picking up these marble. What was it? It was the Masterpieces set from Joe Jusko. He bought them all from Joe back in the day. These were sort of smaller paintings. I don't know if he mentioned the size on these in here, but I remember that, this isn't like it's 11 by 17. I think they're like about half that. But Nick had picked up the whole set, knowing that he couldn't keep them, and he had to whittle it down and keep few of the pieces that he loved the most, and had to sell the rest. But I mean, this is just, I know it's probably under glass, so that's why it's a little bit fuzzy, and we can't really get perfect image here. But I love Joe Jusko's painting. I mean,
Oh yeah.
he is so, I mean, his use of color, and the fact that, and Joe as an artist, I mean, he's always, to me, from the first time, I remember seeing his artwork to now, he always seems to be growing and becoming, a real, someone who's really, really admired in even in the fantasy science fiction genre. The people in the Infected by Art book that I work on, those creators who are painting for Magic the Gathering and other things for Wizards of the Coast, they really, really admire Joe's time in the hobby. And I see them on Facebook asking him questions about his process all the time. But I love Joe's work, and just so everybody knows, I did send him an email. Joe never replied. Well, I can't say he never replies, but I sent him an email saying I'd love to either have him on for a chat sometime as a really as a collector interview. I wanted to talk to him, but I even threw out there that I'd love to have him be our guest of honor at the next Comic Art Live. But he hasn't replied yet, so I'm hoping that comes through. But again, this is just a wonderful piece from a wonderful series that most people who are Marvel fans remember very well. This set of paintings, and congratulations to Nick for being able to pick up many of them, and for being able to also hold on to many of them.
Yeah. And I think Jessica is one of those people too that even when, I mean, continually getting better, completely agree, continually honing, but found their voice and their style very early on.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you can go back and you can look at really early things, and you're just like, yep, there it is. I mean, it just has, it's very, very distinct, really beautiful.
No, I agree. Yeah, I mean, Joe's just great, man. I'd love to own. I've never owned a painting by Joe. I've got to correct that, because his stuff is just amazing. But yeah, no, and you're very welcome, Nick. I've always admired the artworks from here, and I'm glad you have many of them still in your CAF collection. All right, so next up, Jim Warden, as we all know, rep of John Byrne and a few other artists. This is from Doctor Strange 183, and it is by Colin and Palmer. Everybody knows my love for Gene Colan and Tom Palmer. So I just love the layout of this page. I love these. I don't know what these characters are, because I don't. It's been a long time since I've read this story, but I just love the fact that they're giant creatures. You've got it's I don't know, the layout's wonderful. It's classic Gene Colan. The creatures are weird in a Gene Colan kind of way. I mean, the character at the top is I don't know, how Gene draws everything in I don't even know what the right term would be, but everybody's kind of got a very fluid body posture, and it's just unique to Gene. So again, this is an odd composition, but when I kind of get back from it and I look at the blacks to the whites, I really just appreciate the way he's broken it up, and I love the way the letterer has kind of wrapped the lettering below the creature's arm in that way. I mean, just everything about the page is just totally cool, and it's got Zipatone. So I don't know, I just had to pick it because I'm a fan of the two of them working together.
The composition's awesome on this too, because you get to actually look like you're looking into the overall scene. I mean, you've got the one creature's back to you, so it's not like it's being presented in just like a flat 2D panel. I mean, you're really getting an opportunity to be looking in, and you actually get to be an observer of everything that's going on here. So it's a different composition, but it's really well done.
Yep, nope, I agree. Great addition to Jim Warden's CAF, and yeah, remember I always talk about wanting to get good examples from creators. Colan and Palmer, I would be because I have one already, a Doctor Strange page. I mean, I'd be happy to have 5 more, because I'm always taken by their work together. I just really, 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 really love it. So congratulations, Jim, and man, I'm envious of that one. Now this is from Mike Benham's collection, and I'll put the heart on this one right here. So this is Frank Brunner and Steve Lealoa, and it's from Howard the Duck. Did it actually mention the issue number? Did you get it in there? Oh, issue 2. So an early one, very early one. You know, I mean, everything about it is, this is kind of a nostalgic pick for me. I mean, I don't know how many people were reading Howard the Duck off the newsstands like I was, but I always enjoyed it. It was offbeat and campy and everything, and it was just a fun change from the regular comics everybody was reading. And so, and you know, Brunner on this, I mean, you know, Brunner's art market is really, really hot, as everybody knows. But you know, this is a fun Howard the Duck page, and I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, gosh, this is similar to why I picked the last page. I love the composition. I love the fact that this, you know, robotic creature is kind of filling this oddly shaped panel page. I mean, it almost doesn't make a whole lot of, you know, it's not a really, I don't want to say it doesn't make any sense, but it's just an interesting way to lay out the panel. Everything's almost too square and boxy. Now that I'm looking at it with the word boxes, the squares are too square. I mean, it's interesting, but it caught my eye the moment I saw it. I love the robotic creature. I love that first panel with Howard and what is her name, Beverly. So yeah, just had to pick this one just because, again, this was a nostalgic piece for me, and I've always loved Howard the Duck.
Mike would call this what, a 2/3 splash.
Yes, exactly, and it really is. I think if we move things around, it would be a 2/3 splash. And signed by Frank as well, in his classic Frank Brunner signature. And Mr. Easy Go Lucky also liked reading Howard the Duck. All right, hey, even Todd, everybody liked Howard the Duck. I mean, how could you not? All right, got my like on that one. Got 4 more to go, everybody, and then we can call it a night. This is yeah, this is is it just a character? I mean, I didn't even read what it was for. I should have read it. Tryout page. John Buscema took over Don Heck and Avengers. I'm not even going to read the whole thing for everybody, but you know, this is just really cool. And let me do this there. So John Buscema, George, is that Russo? Just a really nice John Buscema set of character drawings. I mean, you know, if you can't own a cover, and we saw a couple of those go for big money today, right? Whether it was a cover or a title page by John Buscema, you know, this is a really cool piece to own. I mean, nobody draws like, I mean, okay, lots of people can draw like John, but I mean, when you look at the style here, you know, I love the way he draws Quicksilver. I love the way he draws Hawkeye. I mean, the man was just, he was made for comics. I mean, his style, and yeah, this is just a wonderful piece of Marvel history.
Yeah, Marcus, you don't see a mutant, you see a miracle. Remember, they've been reconned.
Oh, all right. I did say I was going to try to avoid mutants too, didn't I? All right. You got me on that one.
It's just a beautiful page, and I mean, and you want to talk about like one of the masters of like superhero anatomy. Here it is. Here it's just a masterclass in it. I mean, even though they're still completely realistic poses outside of just the overall exaggerated musculature and just heroic state of them, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, no, it is. It really is. See, but this is something like I would love to own something like this. I mean, as much as
classic costumes too. I mean, come on.
Yeah. No, I'll be honest. I always like that Quicksilver costume. I know it looks goofy with that, but I always thought it was cool. All right. Well, congratulations. Now, wait, whose CAF gallery is this? Andrew Rawlis. All right, cool. From the member since 2019. I don't know if I've ever been in his CAF gallery. I'm gonna have to set that one aside and check it out after the show. All right, we got 3 more here to go. Unfortunately, this one isn't a big scan, but it's an Andy Brown's CAF collection. Andy's got a phenomenal CAF collection. This is Brian Bolland, Detective Comics 559 cover. It says Bolland first DC published Batman cover. All right, well, I did not read that when I was looking at it, but I always love odd perspectives on things, and you know, something like this is just super hard to pull off, right? I mean, because in your mind you're trying to think, well, what would this look like if I'm standing beside this thing, you know? And it's just a really cool composition, and the use of perspective here, the buildings in the background just really hype it up to you know, an extra level, just to give you that super worm's eye, or view or whatever you want to consider it, but just a totally cool, unique way of presenting a cover. And it's Brian Bolland, for crying out loud. I mean, he just sold that the cover on Heritage today for, what was it, 140? I don't know what, but at that rate, the Bolland market is far out of reach for many of us. But again, you can see why his work is so sought after and cherished, because this is a great illustration.
Well, just imagine, I mean, and remember being a kid and seeing covers like this on the spinner rack. And even if it wasn't a title that you read, I mean, this is covers that did exactly what covers were meant to do. It pulls you right in immediately, and I want to know what's going on in this story. Why are they all coming together like this? What kind of a showdown are we going to see in this book? It's just so cool.
Yeah, no, it really is. And yeah, I mean, I want to say more, but I think, like Nick just said, one of the best covers of all time. There's not a whole lot needs to be said of it, because it is just so unique. And and what's cool is, at the end of the day, an editor had to say, all right, we can go with this. As odd as the angle is and of this, they saw that it was pretty cool too, and worth publishing. So yeah, because you demanded it. We did demand it. But again, that's totally cool. I'd love to see this piece in person. I think I've only seen like two or three Bolland covers in person before. This would be a nice one to see. Andy Brown's collection. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Now, it makes me want to actually browse through his CAF gallery now. So I'm gonna leave that tab open for me for later too. And two more here. This one is in Anker's CAF gallery. I don't think I've ever picked anything by Deodato at all before, and it's not a big scan, unfortunately. But I just image. Oh, see, it's got. Let me highlight this here. I didn't even look at the published piece. He says he's been looking for a solid example of Deodato's work for a while. This one fits the bill. So it's a Secret Avengers #1 cover. So it looks done. Looks like it's colored right off of the piece here, and it says pen and ink. At first, when I saw this, I thought it was actually pencils, but now I'm looking at it and I see it's a small scan, but yeah, definitely pen and ink. But the Black Widow is amazing, and I picked it just for that. I mean, it could have been a standalone Black Widow piece with nothing else around it, and I would have been like, that's the Deodato piece I'm picking, because it's great. Classic Black Widow costume, right? Probably my favorite, but yeah.
And able to do sepia tone without sepia tone. I mean, just being able to hold your gray values to that manner, and taking a look at that, and just the level of softness, and yet the volume that he can produce. It's just ridiculous.
Yep. No, I agree. And yeah, Anker, you can, if you post a bigger scan, let me know, because I'd like to see it in high detail. But yeah, great piece. And again, I don't think this is probably my first Deodato pick, and that's we've been doing this a long time. So finally, I'm down to. I had to pick 11 because this was the one I was going to leave out, and I was like, it's how can I leave out a Keith Giffen Legion of Superheroes page, and so I couldn't. So because other than New Teen Titans, this was the only other series of DC books that I picked up regularly. I picked up the John Byrne Superman stuff when he did it, even though I really didn't like it. But after Teen Titans, the work that Giffen did on Legion of Superheroes, just I didn't even need to know much about the stories or the history of the Legion to know that Giffen was just doing amazing work on the books. And so anytime I see a piece of Giffen Legion work, I not like I always feature it, but I always take the time to check it out, because he was just, at this period of his career, he was just meant to be the artist on this book. And again, I just love Giffen's work. This is a great panel page, and that first panel is just amazing, and it's got Zipatone.
That's beautiful.
Robert says, "Element lad with a frizzy perm." Yes, indeed. But yep, great page, and Mickey keeps adding the good art. He really does. He's in my list. You can see right there. I follow Mickey's post because I always appreciate seeing the work he's posting, even though he's more a DC guy than anything else. But I love it. So there you go. That's my 11 picks for the week.
Yeah, fantastic. Definitely worth it. I don't take it back at all. Super cool to watch. Super cool to see.
It certainly was. So we didn't turn you off. You might maybe want to come on another time.
I will tell you, I would absolutely, I'd love it. I mean, it's such a fun experience. And especially now that I know how to do it right, and I can do the 10 picks and not freak you out. I mean, yeah, I'd like another opportunity to do it the right way.
All right, cool. Well, I've got I know I've got a few people booked coming up. I've got
Sure.
Khalil in a couple weeks, and Larry a couple weeks after that. But I will definitely put you on the list, and we'll do it again, Eric.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Khalil's picks too. That'll be awesome.
I agree. Khalil and I have been talking about doing this for a while, and the schedules were never aligning. But we're gonna do one in 2 weeks, I believe. All right, and hey, look,
Made it by midnight for Ruben.
I know. I was just gonna highlight that. Yep, told you we'd make it. Yep, and wow, gosh, at times I don't understand how does it take so long to talk about art? You pick them and you think, it's a minute apiece. We're gonna get done in 20 minutes. Never works out like that.
Honestly, I felt like we were flying through them. I mean, I wanted to sit and talk about some of those pieces at length and really geek out on some of the pieces of it too. So yeah, time goes real fast.
Yep. Nope. I completely agree. All right, Eric. Well, I will be in touch, and I'll be looking for those icons.
You got it. They'll be in your inbox.
All right. Very good. Have a good night, man.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. See, that was fun. What a good night. And I can't. How does this show take so long? I mean, at any rate, guys, and gals, I appreciate the fact that you enjoy hanging out and watching the entirety of these shows. It's a lot of fun for me. And keep those video clips coming whenever anything, Wicked Comic-Con is this weekend, Philly is this weekend. So I'm hoping that if Colin's not so busy running things that he's got to do when he's at the Wicked Comic-Con, that he can take some pictures and some video as well. But anybody going to those shows, please do, and just email me after the shows, and I will set up a Google Drive for you, and you can just upload the files for me. Because I think it's a lot of fun being able to see the shows that we can't go to. So, hit me up, send them out, and I will share them with the rest of the world. So I'm going to call it a night. And as I said earlier, that I was going to have a beer, so I am going to close this night with a drink before I go off to Slumberland. But I just wanted you to know that I appreciate y'all. God, I'm sounding like it from Texas. I sound like Mark Hay when I say y'all. I'm never going to do that again. That will not happen again. But thank you, Nick and Ruben and everybody else for being in the chat, Michael and Mel and everybody. It's just been a great one as always. A Guinness. I wish I had a Guinness tonight, but I do have a porter. But here, I'm going to end it with, I actually made a little ending clip to end the show on tonight. So I'll see you again on Saturday. Don't forget, Saturday at 2:00 with Anthony. We'll sell some Magnolia art maybe, and at least you'll get to see a 20-minute interview with Mike that Anthony did while he was at Mocha on Sunday, and it was actually a pretty decent interview, questions wise, and Mike's responses to some of Anthony's questions will make you smile. I promise. So again, I'll see you guys on Saturday. Have a great Friday and a great weekend if I don't see you until next week.